So these are some of the craziest dental nightmares on the internet right now, and some of these people genuinely need to go see a dentist ASAP. Let's get into it. Things you want to bite really bad. Oh my dang! Dude, I would bite sidewalk chalk. The crunch on that though, oh my gosh, I gotta listen to this. Oh my goodness gracious, how are those teeth not breaking? That's what I'm more impressed about. My goodness gracious. Bro made a hydraulic press out of some denture teeth. That's kind of wild. All right, lipstick. I could see wanting to just bite into a tube of lipstick. Yeah, I could see that. Oh man, that was like nothing. It's like a really soft crown, you know? I bet you it tastes terrible. Okay, styrofoam. I'm not gonna lie, I've probably bit into styrofoam before, so this is not new to me. Jesus, stuffing that thing in it. And the paper says, you're doing the chalk wrong, it's gotta be wet. Who in the heck has ever looked at wet chalk and was like, I wanna eat some wet chalk? Samantha says, now try a pinky finger. Oh my gosh. You guys really out there having intrusive thoughts trying to bite pinkies off, okay? Okay, pinky biter, I get it.
I just finished my surgery.
Oh my gosh, that face. What, did he get all of his teeth? Oh my gosh, he did get all of his teeth removed.
Just no gosh, I love you.
Oh my gosh, Lars out there with the dude from Stranger Things. That's rude. What is his name, Dustin?
I just finished my surgery.
So those little metal things are actually implants that go directly into your bone because he had all of his teeth removed. Does a toothache supposed to hurt this bad? Oh my god. Oh my. Brother. I don't even lie, I don't think he can fake that, because that seemed like real pain. Annabelle says it right. He's not being dramatic, not even a little bit, and I can actually confirm. It's terrible. I've seen people in massive pain. Oh my goodness gracious, we got this poor little baby. Oh, he's got macroglossitis, it looks like. He's probably got some other stuff going on. He's got either got a tumor or something, or he's got, macroglossitis is where the tongue just gets absolutely massive. He's got something going on. A lot of the time we see stuff like that, it could be syndromic, it could be a bunch of different things going on, but that is just terrible. When this channel hits 10 million subscribers, I want to remove this racket live on camera, so hit that subscribe button now.
This is very bad.
Right, what do we got here? Oh, cracked. First off, those aren't real teeth. I can tell right away those are fake teeth just because of the way they crack right down the middle there.
That is.
Oh my gosh, cracked right through the tooth. I'm sure if you looked at this, you'd probably think this girl's got a crack right down the middle of her tooth, but nope, that is just her denture.
I have reached an extreme.
Oh, hey, what's up?
My teeth. They're very broken, okay?
I know her.
Just a little broken, they're very broken.
She's actually had a lot of these dentures for a while. She had the implants and then she gets the dentures, and over time, they just keep breaking on her, I feel like.
Do you freaking see that? My teeth are literally about to fall out of my head.
Yeah.
Like it has one little screw holding it together. One.
That is crazy. Jesus, look at that thing rocking.
I just want it to be over, but no. No. They've already been broken, but they're broken more because they're wiggling around in there now.
Unfortunately, it's a maintenance thing she's got to do for the rest of her life. Now, hopefully the next set lasts her a little bit longer, but you never really know. What is this? Oh no, not the gagging. Oh no, dude, she's ready. Look, she's running. She's like, no, I gotta go get the bucket. Oh no, she's gotta run to take the x-ray. She said, please. There are two things that make dental x-rays terrible. One is a gag reflex. And yes, I have had tons of people gag and throw up on me during impressions. Michael said, how in the world have they not come up with a better way to do this yet? That's a good question that I think are a little bit better. And we've got digital scanning now, which is way better than impressions. So we're working on it, okay? Give us some time, okay? So T, a dentist had to scar me. Oh my goodness gracious. Is probably a scar from some etchant or anything like that. When you get your braces on, you have to put acid on the tooth. And so if you get it on the lip or something there and you just wipe it off and you didn't realize that maybe you got it on there and it sits on there for a long time, you can get a chemical burn and even a scar like this on your lip, which is more than likely what happened to this girl. M5 says, yeah, because I was suing soon as I woke up for that table. Yeah, unfortunately, that is something that you probably could sue a dentist for, unfortunately.
I just had a 6-year-old puke in my hands. I caught it.
Done that before.
I was putting a stainless steel crown on. I touched the palate a little bit too hard. He puked. I caught the puke. The assistant grabs a trash can. I'm throwing the puke in the trash can. He pukes again. I catch it again, and I throw it in the trash can. I'm telling you what, guys. I can still smell it. My mask is on the ground because before this video, I can smell it on my mask. I have to pick that up and throw it in the trash can in just a sec. I'm telling you, I might burn these clothes. I might shave my head tonight. Shave my beard. Because it's everywhere. It was on my hands. I had a scrub everywhere. This poor kid, dude, he was so nice. He was fantastic. I had to refer him to a pediatric dentist. I went to the mom outside in the waiting room. I said,
Dude, you gotta do that.
Your son's fantastic. He's fantastic, but he's got a really bad gag reflex, and unfortunately he just threw up. Please take him to a pediatric dentist. I can't do this. I'm sorry. We'll refund you. If you can't handle that as a dentist, either don't see kids
yeah, no joke.
or check if they have a gag reflex beforehand.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. You thought that you had it bad going to the dentist. We got it bad too. And yes, I've had plenty of puke in my hands. Mackenzie says, yep, as a pediatric dental assistant here, it is not for the weak. They get sick just from the fluoride too. Yeah, I mean, if you get a kid gagging, you gotta run ASAP because you know that bomb's about to explode. If you're new here, I post videos like this every week. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. He's shaving. What does that do? Oh God. And I can hear the clicks. Brother, that genuinely had me shivering inside my timbers. You know what I'm saying? Because you could hear it. You could literally hear him scraping the gum tissue off there. Ah! But I think I should probably say this as a licensed dentist and dental professional. Don't do this.
Hi. As you can see, my teeth are far from perfect.
Oh, okay. Let me pause it real quick. Let's see what we got. But we do have a lot of active decay, which is probably just from not taking care of them over a long period of time, more than likely. And you get these small cavities and they build up and get longer. So let's see.
They're actually very scary to look at, and I know that. They're really unfortunate to have in my mouth.
Yeah.
I've been raising money on TikTok to try to book a dental appointment so I can get cavities clean and the oral surgery that I need because I need about 7 different extractions. TikTok has recently robbed me of $1,000 that I earned from my video. I reached 1 million views and suddenly it was ineligible for recommendation and disqualified for monetization. So here's a 1-minute video and I hope you stay and I hope you share it with everyone you know.
So this is Pile of Pink Flesh. So if you see her on TikTok, go watch her video. Maybe get her a couple extra doll hairs so that she can, get her teeth fixed. And it sucks that we need to figure out a way to help those people for sure.
I did, which is what I will call it now because we have to use code words from censorship, for the first time when I was 17 years old with my mother, actually. But then I moved with my father and he began to give it to me in great increments.
That's really unfortunate. That really sucks to hear.
And I did it every single day for 2 years. Every single day for 2 years. It is now 5 years later.
But I hope that she gets everything. Like I said, I'm really proud of her that she's at least taken the step and doing whatever she can to try and get started on it. And I commend her for that. So hopefully she gets everything figured out. Ooh, we got a little retainer here. So she's breaking an old retainer here to save the wires usually because you want to redo it. A little expander there in the middle if you're wondering what that expander is. You have a little kind of a liquid in a powder that you have to put together. She's making a rainbow one. Put it in the pressure pot here to make sure there's no bubbles inside of it. And then she's gonna smooth it out. Then she's putting in the stars and then she'll put a clear layer of that powder over the top of that to seal it in. I actually really enjoy doing this. And yes, you do get stuff everywhere. And then she's curing it and there you go. It's all polished up and looking awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually one of my favorite things. If you guys don't know, dentistry and orthodontics, everything is a lot of art and crafts in a healthcare setting. From putting, filling material and shaping the tooth and doing retainers and everything else. There is a lot of art involved. I wouldn't wish cavity pain on my worst enemy. The fact that cavities spread and I only just found out. I know what you guys are thinking, and no, those are not cavities. Those are past fillings. Those are amalgam fillings. And then funny, Kim right after says, I barely brush. I go months without brushing my teeth, not a single cavity. Well, she and her family are very lucky that they have small, lower levels of strep mutans. And actually, I reduced my own strep mutans by over 99% in only 8 days. So if you're somebody who's prone to getting cavities and you want something that actually directly attacks strep mutans itself, and this actually has xylitol in it to even boost that even more, and nanohydroxyapatite for all the good stuff from, so, I mean, it's an amazing tooth. I highly recommend you try it. And it's not Zero regular, it's actually Zero Pro. Pro is the one with the nanolipid emulsion. It's actually a biotech. It's the first ever biotech toothpaste that I've ever heard of. Okay, we got some braces. Oh my gosh. You chewing into my poor brace. What the heck? Why you got that? Oh no, the candy, the sugar on my braces. You know, if I had a toothbrush right now, I'd put it out like this for you. Let's get back away, cavities.
My sister did this to my tongue when we were younger.
There, Sour Patch Kids. Dang, ah! Dude, that's got a burn. This is not a cut. This is what we call a fissured tongue. Bella says, I just know it burns. And no, it actually doesn't burn most of the time. I think actually there's some spicy food causes more problems than sour stuff. I hope you don't have that stuff in your mouth. Oh! Stanky. You powered it on going crazy. Dude, if only. And you know, the crazy thing is when you brush like crazy like this before a dental appointment, it does not matter. Because you know what matters is this thing called calculus. And no, I'm not talking about the hard math subject. You see, you get this gunk on your teeth, this soft gunk on your teeth called plaque. Every day you brush it off, you take care of it. If you don't, within 24 to 48 hours, that plaque will harden, almost like cement hardens, into a thing we call calculus, which is this hard white substance that you can only get off by scaling it off your teeth. So you can brush as much as you want. If you come into our office, we can see all that calculus in the x-rays. We can click on it with our little scaler, see it, and we will know that over time you were not brushing and flossing like you were supposed to.
Eat your vegetables!
Oh, man. Mason Rose says, brush your teeth. So obviously they're going for the yellowing of the teeth. And you know, I want to be the first one to say that yellow teeth are natural normally. Super yellow teeth are not natural. Oh. Oh. And why are you cutting your rubber bands? You don't have to do that. You just take them off and then you put them back on. It's that easy. What are we doing? Braces food versus ASMRs. More braces fruit. What is she doing there? Eating some gels. Yep. That's not gonna damage the braces. That one's probably gonna be fine. Oh yeah, that'll definitely break a bracket right there. Eating on some Jolly Rancher or like Jawbreakers. You know what I was trying to say? Don't you do it. Don't you bite. Oh my gosh. And that's just air. Air's not gonna do anything. It's just air. What are we doing these days? I thought I was done with ASMR video trends. Why are we just eating people now? That's just a soft person. You know, at least we're not doing Nidos these days. I really hope that's water. That's just gross. €50 piece of chocolate. You know, chocolate's high in sugar, causes cavities, okay? Let's stop that. Let's stop it. And the sprinkles, wasting my time. I thought ASMR videos was 2019. What are we still doing in 2026 watching ASMR videos? All right, what do we got here? Oh, my man's. He's got a little cavity, so you can see kind of the staining there up in there. We got a cavity on our hands, don't we? Look at that. Oh, he's a dentist. Oh, he's gonna do it on himself. Okay, so he is giving himself some numbing right there. He's blocking out that entire nerve, which is kind of insane to just do on yourself, but I respect it, my G. Okay, he's letting that go. He's got his, oh, he's using a camera. That's actually really smart. Jeez, dude, he's just gonna do his whole cavity filling like that? Dude, that can't be sanitary. How do you block out all the saliva and stuff from getting in there? So you can see he's gotten way deeper, right? This is that yellow layer is the dentin inside, and you can see that that cavity still goes down even further. He's building it up, getting the glue in there. That's actually insane. How does he keep it dry? Because if saliva gets in there, you can actually ruin it. Yeah, like that. Like, how does he do it? Got it all filled there. Now he's gonna go ahead and polish it. Now he's checking the bite to make sure the bite's good. Wow. Now, it looks good. Like, he did a good job. The only issue that I see in there is doing it on yourself, one, kind of dangerous. There's bacteria in your saliva. If it makes it in there, it's not a clean prep and it could get reinfected. Thank you, Damon, for the new piercing. What do you got? Oh my gosh, got a wire going through the lip. How's that even possible? What the heck? I tell you, I know exactly what's going on here. So basically, Damon braces, if you guys don't know, are a self-ligating braces. They're a new style. Actually, they're what we use in our practice. We've used them for a long time. I think they're some of the best brackets on the market. And when you do that and you have a wire sticking out like this, you can take that wire and you can pop it outside your mouth onto your cheek like that. Then Larry says, why y'all hating on Damon braces? They're genuinely better than traditional. And I agree. They are actually way better than traditionals, in my own personal opinion. I know there's gonna be tons of orthodontists out there like, oh my gosh, supplicant braces are not as good as traditional. I get it just fine. That's fine. You can't eat that with braces. Listen, they super glue back. Oh yeah, you just going for it, huh? You don't care at all. But you know, this is the type of person that comes in and they like have 8 broken brackets and you're like, hey, what were you breaking brackets from? And they were like,
I just was breathing air one day and they popped off.
it's like, brother, we know. Court says, I broke one eating a soft taco shell. No, you probably didn't. You probably broke it earlier doing something else, and then the soft taco shell was the straw that broke the camel's back that made you think you broke it.
Put some toothpaste on your hand, 1 crushed activated
This is how to whiten your teeth perfect.
half a teaspoon of baking soda, juice of half a lemon.
Okay, so first off, not really liking what I'm seeing. We got charcoal, which is super abrasive. Baking soda, actually not a problem at all. Lemon juice, super acidic, which could actually hurt your enamel. So let's see what he's doing with it here.
Mix everything well.
gosh.
You will get a mixture like this. These are my
Okay.
teeth before. Brush your teeth with this mixture for 2-3 minutes. And this is how my teeth look after.
Yeah, because you just ripped off your tooth enamel. That's why. That's the thing with these whitening combo wombos we see that people are making at home. They keep using lemons, acid, which is gonna hurt your teeth, and things that are highly, highly abrasive, which, if you didn't know, harms your teeth. So will this work? Yes, it will actually whiten your teeth, but for the wrong reason. It's gonna rip off your enamel versus actually getting in and penetrating and getting rid of the yellow inside your enamel tubules, which is what hydrogen peroxide does. Broski said, just use this, which is a miswalk. That's not gonna whiten your teeth. It will physically remove plaque from your teeth and maybe a little bit of light staining. It's not gonna whiten your teeth. Monotime says, but it breaks the enamel. Bingo, we've got a winner. Somebody at least has 2 brain cells in this comment section. And his Sam says, tell us the filter, please. And that is something to always be worried about. If you ever see like a crazy whitening transformation in a video, they don't work that way, okay? And so it's more than likely a filter or they're scamming you in some way. So listen, don't do this. The only 2 things I like in this is baking soda and toothpaste. The rest can kick rocks.
I brush my teeth. There's actually no... Why would you brush your teeth?
The hell?
Your teeth aren't that yellow, so I'm surprised.
Well, they don't get yellow because I don't eat. When you're brushing your teeth with fluoride or whatever toothpaste, it's terrible for you. It's just straight chemicals. It's removing your enamel. That's why you're gonna have weak teeth and get all these diseases. But yeah, I've never gotten a cavity, and my breath smells just fine. If you have bad breath, it's because of all the toxins breaking down and all the stuff left on your teeth.
Okay, a lot to unpack here. First off, this man has never brushed his teeth apparently. He says that his teeth are white, he doesn't have bad breath, and he's never gotten a cavity. So what gives, Bentis? If this is happening to this man, surely everybody cannot brush their teeth. Well, the answer is no. Brushing your teeth is not bad for you. No toothpaste is not meant to actually break down and wear down your enamel and tear it apart. And even goes later in the video and says you're not supposed to floss either because it's unnatural, and that's the reason why your gums are bleeding is because you're flossing, not the other way around. And to really get to the bottom of this, you have to understand why you get cavities and why you get gum disease. It's actually because of bacteria in your mouth, nothing else. That being said, you can, not brush your teeth, not take care of it, eat bad things, which can feed the bacteria and make the bacteria problem worse, but it's actually the bacteria that's the problem. And so really, this man just got very lucky. I mean, obviously see in the middle of his mouth, he could have cavities places he doesn't know. He's never gone to a dentist to even check it. So how would he really know? But if he doesn't have that bacteria in his mouth because his family did not pass it on to him, well, then he very well won't get cavities, and he could have the idea that no, you don't need to brush your teeth. But that doesn't mean he can't have other bacteria that cause gum loss and bone disease and things like that he could not physically see from the front. Regardless, you still want to get those bacteria down by brushing and flossing daily and taking care of your teeth. And so maybe just don't go telling people they shouldn't brush their teeth because it's bad for them, which is the exact opposite. Brushing is actually amazing for you. Blockchain says it's straight chemicals. Everything else is made of chemicals. Like what? That's not good that everything's made of chemicals. And I do agree that there are some things in toothpaste that we shouldn't have in there. In fact, in our toothpaste, we don't have sodium lauryl sulfate. We don't have titanium dioxide. We don't have like violet and red dyes and things like that. So it's like there are things that we could definitely do better on in toothpaste world. But the physical act of brushing and flossing without even a toothpaste being associated with it is definitely not something you should stop. But what do I know? I'm just a dentist. When I reach 10 million followers, I'm gonna take this racket off live on camera. So make sure you subscribe now. Taking my power chains off because they hurt. Oh my gosh, and she has the twin brackets. Yeah, peace up all the way back to your orthodontist when your braces are messed up. That's right, you see, a power chain is literally a physical thing that we use. It's a tool to fix something in your mouth at a certain point in braces, normally to close up spaces and stuff like that, but still, it's a prescribed device. And it's one thing if, say, you've got a Damon braces that self-lock and you got the power chain and you take those off. Guess what? Your wire's still in the Damon brackets. It's not the end of the world per se, because, well, you know, the stuff is still being held in there. But she has these old school brackets called twin brackets that are not self-ligating. And guess what? That power chain is the only thing holding them in. So you may think you're cool taking off your power chain, but then your wire is just going to fall right out because there's nothing holding it back in. At that point, I really hope you can get that power chain back on, and the right exact one in the right exact size with the right exact power, so that you don't overpower the system and cause dumping in and all these other issues with your mouth. But still, my guess is you're probably just gonna have to go back to the orthodontist and get it back on there. Basically, what I'm trying to say is just don't mess with your braces. Why? Why do people want to mess with their braces? I don't know, man. Maybe it's the ADD in today's society. I don't know. All these fidget toys aren't enough for you, so you gotta fidget with your mouth. Zoe says, how are you going to explain this to your dentist? She's probably gonna say that she was just breathing in a gust of wind and it fell off like they usually do. You to youngest. Yes, that is definitely younger sibling behavior. Because really, internally, they're just reaching out to their parents wanting to be noticed. But regardless, don't do this. All right, point of view, you decided to leave the whitening strips on for 3 hours instead of 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, well, look at what we've got here. The dreaded purple whitening strips. Yeah, no, I mean, you know, normally I could see the issue here because, you know, if you leave a hydrogen peroxide whitening strip on for a long time or you fall asleep in them, yes, notoriously, you will wake up with a ton of sensitivity and it will hurt really bad for a couple of days until your body remineralizes all those little holes, plug those holes back up. But for you, don't you worry at all because you just did 3 hours of nothing to your teeth. You literally just put Violet 3 all over your mouth and just hoped for the best. So no, there will be no sensitivity and no, there will be no long-term whitening because it didn't do anything to you like any of these colored purple whitening strips or mouthwashes or anything like that. They are really just meant to kind of temporarily trick your brain into thinking they got whiter when they really didn't at all. And same with those green ones too. They use this thing called arbutin, which is actually to lighten your skin color, not your teeth. So they don't work either. It's kind of just silly how many scams there are out there in the oral care companies these days. It's kind of wild. Matthew says, that reminds me of something with the guy from Friends. Yes, no, you're definitely not gonna have white teeth like he did in Friends. I guarantee that. And then Siri says, imagine you use whitening strips. Yes, imagine you use actual whitening strips that actually whitened. You would be in pain right now, but you're not. And you're not gonna have white teeth either. Now, if you actually did use a hydrogen peroxide whitening strip and you did get sensitivity, well, that stinks. And it's just gonna be a temporary sensitivity. You have all these little holes and these plugs in your teeth that are causing this air to reach inside your nerve. And you just have to wait till those organic plugs fill back up. Normally it takes about 2 days or something after like that to get back to normal with sensitivity. And over time, your body does get used to it. So yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but still, yeah. Don't do this. Don't leave any whitening strip on for 3 hours, because I'm sure you probably just poisoned yourself with Violet 3 for 3 hours. It's probably not safe. Oh my, that is a rotated tooth. What do we got going on here? Fun fact, actually, I'm gonna pause it. You can actually see that this tooth that's turned sideways, wow, we see this quite a bit though. It's actually got these ridges that go up sideways. This is actually what we call a shovel-shaped incisor, and we see it in different ethnicities, and a lot of times it's Asian, Native Americans, but it's basically where these back sides are more poofed up like this, and they're not flat and clean like a normal incisor. Interesting fact I want to throw in there. Oh my gosh, so we've got, looks like we're gonna do a slingshot technique here, and this is just kind of where you can run power chains. Yep, there we go. We're running these power chains around to actually pull and twist the tooth. Now, one little thing that he's leaving out here that I probably would have done would be a spring on the wire in that area to help gain some room this way to allow that twisting to occur a little bit better. But still, this is definitely a way to attack a crazy rotated tooth like that. It's interesting to see in a video. Hannah says, someone bring me back with the update. Well, it's gonna take a while. Normally something like this can take 3 to 6 months to fully rotate and get all the way back around. But yes, I would like to see an update too. And then Nova says, how does it even get like that? Well, Nova, normally you just lost a baby tooth early. Those teeth came together and dropped the space, so there's no room for that tooth to come in. It's trying to come in, it can't go in normal, so it turns sideways to get in to your mouth. So it's basically your teeth trying to be creative to get into your mouth with the amount of crowding that you have. And trust me, it's way better than it getting blocked up in there and not coming out at all. But still, pretty cool nonetheless. I make videos like this every week, so if you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more of my videos. Oh my gosh, that man is, oh my gosh, he's drinking it with his nose. I thought he was just chugging. First off, I'm trying to figure out why you guys are tagging me in this. I'm an orthodontist. What does this have to do with Oh my goodness, how does that not burn going down? Holy mama moly. Oh, I get it now. Everybody's saying that you can't get cavities if everything just goes through your nose and not your mouth. How are you gonna get food through there, huh? That's what I want to see next. And yes, I mean, I guess it would be a way of getting sugary drinks around past your mouth, but you know, everything's all connected. Your mouth, your nose, everything like this. And honestly, if you drink through your nose like this, you're very likely to aspirate and get some of that down your lungs. So not healthy at all. And even then, some of that is still probably gonna get into your mouth and give you cavities. So no, I am not an ear, nose, and throat doctor. I don't really know what to take away from this other than telling you, don't do this. It's probably not healthy for you. And you still gotta brush your teeth, even if you drink beer out of your nose. That's all I've got for this one. Okay, we've got another one from Dr. Diller Cruz. This is Centro Especializado.dc. Sorry, I messed that up. But this is actually pretty cool because it looks like we're gonna do a crown pep, and I think this will give you a really good understanding just how big these cavities are when they don't even look that big at the start. So what we do is we first gotta uncover what we've got in here. So he's going in and he's just kind of uncovering all the grooves and all these areas that are just kind of lightly dark and black there. And you'll see that enamel does chip away fairly easy in these decayed stuff because they're just unsupported enamel. They can just kind of collapse in just like you would, like a mine that's collapsing because there's nothing underneath it. And yeah, let's see what we got. So we've got this first initial one. Interesting to note there, you can see that white band on the right side, that is demineralized enamel. So when you see white spots on teeth and stuff, it's from this bacteria called Strep mutans that goes in and eats away at it. You can also have it from acid erosion and acid wear. Okay, now we're getting into the dentin layer, which is that kind of softer yellow layer. And actually, you can still see a lot of decay here. All that black stuff that he's just scooping out because decayed dentin is actually a cheese-like consistency. So you can literally just scoop it out. Now, normally what you would be using instead of a scooper like this, and he's probably doing this just to see how close he is to the nerve to make sure nothing just drops, through, because you got to be careful. You don't want to get into the pulp here. That would be a bad thing to do because then you have to get a root canal and everything. But normally you would go through with a slow speed round burr and really clean everything up here. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit and we're gonna see kind of what we've got going on. He's still got some decay here. It's still yellow, so he's still going back in and getting all that decay out. This is a big cavity. Remember, we just started from that little tiny cavity at the start. So he's gonna go in and continue cleaning that thing up and hope that he does not go into a pulp chamber, which he very well might. And there you go, he's got a pretty clean cavity there, prepped up and ready to do his filling or maybe a crown, depending on what they needed to do, because that was a big cavity. So even though if you see a tiny little spot, it very well could be hiding a lot more than you think. And this is why we need to take care of things quickly instead of letting them get worse and worse and worse. But the best thing you do is just avoid it altogether by brushing and flossing. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not.
You can't sit next to me.
Okay, so I can sit over here.
If you're a turtle, you can sit with me.
Do you want me to be a turtle?
Yeah.
What sounds do turtles make?
What?
Must be so sad, and I'm sad. Does it hurt your mouth though?
And you thought getting your wisdom teeth out was bad. The PTSD for afterwards is way worse.
Well, that's very sweet of you.
Never gets to do anything.
That's very sweet.
They can't pray to Jesus.
The floor holds everything up to the floor. I'm so sorry.
Dad, am I allowed to say I love you to me?
Oh my gosh.
Of course you are. Can I give you a kiss?
You want to kiss me? But you're hot.
In front of Dad too, that's wild.
Are you okay with this?
With your boyfriend kissing you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hot though.
That's irrelevant. He's a good young man.
Shout out Dad.
Are we married?
Not yet.
Why?
Because we're 16 and 17.
Good answer.
We gotta wait a little bit.
I'd wait a little bit longer than 16, 17. Maybe like 25, maybe 25, 30 even, maybe 35,
I'm sorry.
What? If he wants to.
Dang, okay, Mom. Mom must really like this guy.
He is really nice to you.
Bro, these people are so comfortable with their parents. That's why I cannot imagine saying that stuff with my parents around. I would die. Anesthesia is so scary because what if I expose my biggest secrets? You will, actually. Anesthesia is actually kind of a truth-telling serum. It really does kind of just make you say the truth, weirdly enough. When you forget your best friend is getting rescued.
Yeah. You get the schedule.
I always knew that I would end up with a gay man. Did you know that you were gay before or after being?
After. Jeez.
Is it because I'm so hot that you're like, oh, I must be gay if I'm not into her, or is it because I'm so ugly that you're like, I can't?
I think you're gorgeous.
I like that. That was good. That was good. Nobody says, what do you mean? Why does this keep happening to me? It's like, yeah, I was thinking the same time. I was like, wait a second. This happened to you multiple times before? Not the only one? And then Alexa takes it with the, yeah, that was a good hit. And then she had the little like heart monitor, little pulse monitor thing. Her heart was about to stop. When this channel hits 10 million subscribers, I'm going to remove this racket live on camera. So hit that subscribe button.
Okay, well, like, what the f***? Like, what the f***, bro? I get on my face, bro. I go get a root canal. I go tell the doctor, I'm like, hey, ma'am, I have a midterm, all right, at 6:40, okay? So can you please do me a favor and don't go crazy with the anesthesia? Does it look like she went light, bro? I can't close my face. Look at that. I can't close my eyes.
Bro, half your face is dead.
I can't close my eyes, bro. I have paralysis in the right side of my face. Come on, do it!
The crazy part is that's actually true. You can get anesthesia in a normal area, like you're just getting a filling or something like that, and you can hit the facial nerve, and that can actually paralyze a part of your face. It's actually, fun fact, the same thing that you would get with a stroke. If someone had a stroke and the one side of their face went numb or whatever, you stopped working, that's how you know you had a stroke. In his case, he's not having a stroke. He just got some really unfortunate anesthesia.
Hey, how the f am I supposed to go do a presentation, okay? Because part of my final is written, and then I have a minute and a half of speaking part. What speaking am I gonna do? Nah, bro, I wish I was lying. It's like this side of my face is mad, and this side is relaxed. I'm like, what the f is going on?
Why are facial expressions so much funnier when half of your face is paralyzed?
Well, I can't do it.
Oh my gosh, a cute Nima says, a woot canal. Yeah, dude, right, you'd be lisping everywhere. Danny says, this reminds me of the pigeon from Storks. Why does it actually remind me of the pigeon from Storks? Got all 4 wisdom teeth removed here. Jeez, my brother's struggling. He's got the tears coming down and everything. My poor dude, poor guy. I feel bad for the dude. He's really going through it, you know? How long have you doing this for? Damn. Brother, like, this is like a 20-hour video of him just sighing. Which, you know, it's actually crazy because we talk about how it could make you tell the truth, you know, you say something crazy, but it also deals with emotions pretty heavily too. So, and Name Not Sleep says 4 in the same day, are you crazy? And actually, it's totally normal to get 4 out in the same day. It happens all the time. You go under it, you get them all 4 out, and then they get them all done. That's actually really normal.
I'm Cameron, and this is me before getting my wisdom teeth removed.
Okay, we got twin brothers here. First off, whoa, we got some twin brothers here. Look at the difference in these brothers that are twins. We got the well-kept one here, and then we go back, boom. We got kind of the swaggy, kind of more like punk rocky looking one.
Oh my God, bro.
Bro got the dazed and confused Harry Potter look going on right now. Dude, my man is lost.
He's seeing nothing right now. There's not a thought between those eyes.
I like one was like, me, ha, me. You just forget to speak. I don't know what to tell you. Danny says, I'm still not removing my wisdom teeth and I'm already 24. Well, hear me out. Eventually, if you really do have impacted, messed up wisdom teeth, it's not if they're gonna cause a problem, it's when they're gonna cause a problem.
Side. This side. Yep, good job. Now keep it, don't punch down. Take it out. It's honestly, just put the nails in.
Oh.
No.
I know exactly what she thinks that is. You know, the crazy thing is that almost always, that's happened so many times where that's happened and people thought that their tongue literally has came out. Like we pulled their tongue out. You can actually see right when you pull it out, like that looks like a tongue. And then he says down here, says, why is everybody tweaking out when they get their wisdom teeth removed? I acted completely normal. And you know, the fun thing is that anesthesia affects different people differently, the same way alcohol or anything else does.
No.
Dude, that's such a great.
Thank you. Don't tell my mom. I am your mom. I like women. I know. And men sometimes.
What the?
I know.
The crazy thing is you're actually slick, but no, you're not. Your mom actually knows exactly what you're doing. She knows more than you think. You know, my mom used to be, I could whisper across the entire house and she'd be like, excuse me? And I'd be like, how do you know that? I was not prepared for this level of insanity. She thought the dog was a lion. Dude, I mean, I could tell why that's a big dog. Look at that thing.
Look at the track. It's a track. It's just a track.
You know, why do people get so scared? I never understood why people get so scared.
You want to lick it?
Dude, that is the best.
Do you know her? Do you know who that is?
Your sister, homie. They're probably like, right now they're probably like looking into a mirror. It's like that Spider-Man meme that, you know, they're like, wait, am I? Seen the dentist that did the surgery, I guess. You just had to brother, this is a girl who does not care. He just feels defeated after that. Just he's like, oh, me? Why? What did I do wrong? I'm just trying to help you. No, because how did my mom understand?
Like 20 minutes.
Dude, that face right after when he says that, look at that face that she said.
It was quick.
That's a special language. That's a mother-daughter special language right there. Oh, Hani has the translation for us.
I'm not going to.
Oh, she's got the same thing. Yeah, so you can tell, like, see how when she's blinking right here? So she had anesthesia that paralyzed half her face as well. Dude, you look so crazy.
Look at me.
Yeah, and this one, she has it too. I remember her. Dude, that is crazy.
Like you're smiling on that side.
Oh my gosh, look at that. I thought it was way more rare to have half your face paralyzed. What are these dentists using these days? Dude, that's crazy. I mean, hers is not near as bad as the other girl, but still.
Let me relax my face first.
Oh my gosh. Oh, bro, that one's bad. she's like, hey, you guys. You know, from the sloth from the Goonies, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh, even with the drool too. No.
Okay.
Dude, there was like 1,000 people that have had this happen.
My
It's
face
crazy.
is numb, but that's not the. My face is so numb that I can't close that eye.
People asking, does this last forever? No, don't worry, it does not last forever. Within like a couple hours, it will start to fade away and she'll be able to move those muscles again.
Okay, ready? Look, this is. Ignore. I'm a hot mess. It's fine, but like, ready? This is me blinking.
She's like,
At 6 or 7, you can legally take it every 6 hours.
to be fair, I 6'7" all the time. She's like, 6'7"?
Oh, 6.
Izzy with the 6'7" walrus over there. She did kind of sound like a 6'7". Yeah, well, she had that walrus laugh a little. Okay, we got the ice packs on the side for anti-inflammation.
Why are you laughing at? She's not ugly.
You know what's better than getting your wisdom teeth out? Getting your wisdom teeth out with your friend, and this video proves it.
Don't! Don't say that. Don't say that. You are not ugly, Ellie. You are not ugly. Natalie.
I know what she said there. I could read those words.
Be nice.
Children's book said they reverted to being toddlers. That's actually kind of weird. You do see people kind of regress back in anesthesia. Oh my gosh, she's so sad all of a sudden. This girl has no idea what's going on still. She's like, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
You're right. Oh, wow.
See, look at your girlfriend.
Oh.
Look down.
Oh, my
Come on.
God.
You're doing what I told you.
You're
Look
looking-
at your
yeah.
girl.
Keep your head level.
Keep
You definitely want to keep your head level.
Step down.
You know what that look is right there? That's a look of true love right there.
Watch your head. Oh, get in there.
Oh.
Hey, Karen.
Don't you dare call me a Karen. I'm a proud Democrat.
Roy says, that's my grandma. Imagine you're swiping down Facebook and you see some random dude getting put into a car by your grandma. Wisdom tooth surgery ain't no joke.
Hey, look up.
So this is the second one you've seen someone telling them to look up, and that's because you actually want to keep your eyes on the horizon, because if people with anesthesia start looking down, they end up falling and going towards the way that they're looking, so that's why he's saying that.
Do not look down. Okay.
That's a big boy, though.
I hate this eyes.
Yeah, we do too.
Don't
Yeah, that's
look
true. You
down.
get dizzy
You
till you
dizzy
throw
when
up.
you look down, man. Now, that's normal. Y'all can ask him all kinds of funny questions.
He's like, oh.
Shut up, buddy.
There you go.
There you go, bud.
My boy went for wisdom teeth removal, woke up with a concussion.
Lay down. Lay down.
Oh, Mom.
All right, what do we got? Oh, don't hit the head on the fan. That would be bad.
Fan, you want to hit the fan?
You're good.
Dude, my man's gonna have a new PTSD every time he sees a fan going on here. Oh, jeez.
It's okay.
Nah, bro, did her dirty with that jump scare warning. Yeah, that was a little. I thought she edited that. I didn't know someone else edited that. That's kind of mean. Okay, all right. Yep, brushing. Got some cavities. Your brain's telling you to be all squeaky clean. Strong teeth. Waking up. Pain. Oh, the wisdom teeth are erupting in the mouth. Oh, it's an abscess. You know, the funny thing is that wisdom teeth are actually normally smaller than the other molars. So it actually wouldn't be big and buff. It would be a tiny little shrimp. Oh, you like that? That one's impacted. Didn't come through all the way. I like how it's like pushing the other teeth around because it's impacting it. Nani? Oh. Oh, now they're gonna extract them. Yeah, the chance that you're gonna get your wisdom tooth in, pretty rare, not gonna lie. So what do you do with all the teeth when you're done with them?
Hello?
I don't know what the heck you guys are doing with your teeth, but I'll tell you what we're not doing. I'm not eating them. Although we do something a little bit different, and yes, even just as weird. That's right, because as dentists, you see, we need to practice on different teeth, okay? We need to be able to drill and learn before we do it on a real human, because that would be bad. Trust me, you don't want to go directly into a human's mouth and do it. You need to practice first. All right, so we got a wisdom teeth extraction here. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna open it up. So what you're gonna see here is he's removing the bone around it. We gotta be able to see it. Now what he's gonna do is normally we cut this wisdom tooth in 3 different pieces. So you can see he's lifting up and getting the crown top out, and then he's gonna section those roots and get one root out at a time. Actually, he kind of took that root out in pieces. Sometimes you can do that if you have to, or you can just pull the roots out themselves. Yeah, like that. So this is actually pretty good. So what he's doing now is he's smoothing that bone. You don't wanna have a lot of rough edges on the bone because it can lead to other problems like dry socket, things popping through. And then basically what you do is you close it up from there, and there you go.
I actually had my wisdom teeth removed when I was 20. I had no idea. The insurance company had a $5,000 reward for removing my wisdom teeth. And then I learned about how your wisdom teeth are connected to your heart. So there's actually no reason to remove the wisdom teeth. They actually just pulled them out so they could get from the and then mess with your meridian line.
$5,000 reward for a wisdom tooth surgery? I'm not gonna lie, I don't think just getting paid for a service is considered a reward. And no, you're definitely probably not getting $5,000 for a wisdom tooth removal. Post wisdom tooth removal. But for real though, you guys tagged me and said, Bentis, what is going on here? Well, I'm gonna tell you, there is trauma. They're up there, they're cutting, they're pulling, they're opening the jaw wide, they're getting in there and they're causing some damage to get those teeth out because they're, guess what, impacted and buried into your face. But even though her face looks super crazy, I still highly recommend getting your wisdom teeth out if your dentist tells you to, especially if they're impacted, because trust me, you do not want to get an infection, a big abscess, and a hospital stay from keeping those things in. Casual Lemon says, she looks like she's ready to hibernate for the winter. That's rough, that's mean, that's mean. And the answer is, why does her face look like a Picasso painting of a chipmunk? Except, what's up with the chipmunk? We all are on the chipmunks, aren't we? All right, how braces are put on. Oh, this is always good. Let's go through this. Okay, so I'm gonna pause it right here. So the first thing you can see there is that they're polishing off and they're moving that wheel. And really what we gotta do is, because like, imagine if you tried to glue something to a wall and it was all dirty, well, it would just come right off. So you have to clean the teeth. You have to get all the gunk and nastiness off the teeth to make sure that we have a clean surface to bond to. All right, now next up, they are putting some stuff on there and then washing it away, and it's leaving kind of this white little square behind. So they're kind of putting it on there, this clear liquid. Now what that is actually, it's a little bit opposite of what you normally see, because it's clear here. It actually is normally blue, and that's actually called etchant. So the etchant is actually there to dissolve away the enamel tubules to make it easy for it to basically grip to, almost like it almost turns your enamel into a Velcro so it can kind of lock in there. And then he rinses that away, and then obviously after that he paints on the next step. So that next step that you're seeing is painted on blue is normally actually clear, so they actually flip the colors there. And that is actually the kind of monomer, basically the bonding between the glue and the tooth. So you've got the gel etch that etches the tooth. You have kind of this primer area in between, and then the glue, which is on the back of the bracket, is put on there. So you're gonna see they put the bracket on there, we're adding the glue, and then that glue then sticks on to that layer. So now that you've got that sandwich layer, and then they light cure it, put it on there, and boom, there we go. Oh, this is actually the Damon system. I like the Damon system. The cool thing about the Damon system is that the doors are actually passive. So they kind of move up and down so they can slide really nicely on the wire. That's why we use them in our office. That's why they're the best brackets in the world. I personally think. The other ones use those little rubber bands to stick on there and cling to it, which causes a lot of friction, and then putting some bite props on the back there to help fix that overbite, and then dragging things down. Look at that, and then some rubber bands to fix the bite. And yeah, that is pretty much braces in a really quick, easy, fast way. But at least now you know a little bit more about how those braces go on. Oh my gosh, okay, what? Okay, we were putting some veneers on here. Okay, I'm actually gonna pause it. So these actually are not veneers. You know, these are crowns. These are full crowns. You see, a veneer is just a light shaving of the teeth with some stuff on top. This is a lady getting full crowns across her entire mouth, which I do not recommend, but here we are, people do it. Basically what you're seeing is they're really whittling down the entire tooth there. And so we're gonna keep going through this now, and you'll see, you can actually see the before picture there at the top. You can see she just kind of had flatter, nice looking teeth. To be honest, they were pretty good. They just really needed some whitening. Looks like she maybe had some staining and some stuff like that, maybe some cavities here and there. And so instead of just leaving these naturally really pretty teeth and kind of shaping them up a little bit better and just whitening them, they went and just basically shaved off everything, which is something that people do. And it's not my favorite, but it is a quick way to get those nice, bright toilet bowl white teeth. So let's see. So obviously they're putting them in. They are well done, at least. At least she went to somebody who knows what they're doing getting crowns, because it does look like they look fairly good. And you can see in the end, she's pretty happy. And so this is always a mixed bag for me, because I hate that they ruined all their teeth permanently when they probably could have been fine with just a little shaping and whitening and been pretty happy with it. But maybe she's tried whitening, it didn't work. Maybe she had some decay and other problems you don't know about, and she had to get the crowns. But I mean, you have to imagine it's hard enough to keep one crown going, let alone like 40 of them or 30 of them in a full mouth is a lot, and a lot of things can go wrong, and it's very costly when they do go wrong. And Jason Racer says, why did you need such a deep prep? Yikes, be a little more biomimetic. Now what he means is like, why did they shave off so much? Why couldn't you have done just a veneer? And the fact is they could have just done a veneer on the front 6 teeth, but instead they polished off the entire tooth and caused a crown, which is, no, it is not good. This is what we would call a turkey teeth situation. They get you into thinking that it's veneers, and no, they just shave off everything and put you on these crowns, and then you fly home and 5 fall off and you have all these issues for the rest of your life. But what can I say? All I can do is just try and get you to avoid doing this as much as possible and hope that you listen. That's about all I can do. Just save up and go to a dentist.
That's a really good point, Diane. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna pause it there at the beginning. Obviously, we have quite a bit of decay there. The front of the teeth are looking weird. For those of you who don't know, I went through a CPTSD episode where I was vomiting multiple times a day. Okay, so that is definitely a way that you can do things. Now, obviously, it's either due to, you know, just neglect, sometimes drug use, eating a lot of candy, things like that, not brushing, taking care of yourself. But vomiting is a very real thing that can absolutely ruin the enamel of your teeth. And if you have GERD, or if you're damaging, or if you're bulimia, or if you're just throwing up all the time from stress, which it seems like she had, a huge stress problem there, then yes, you're gonna damage and you're gonna wear down your teeth a ton. And then if you're doing that mixed with not taking care of your teeth very good, well then that bacteria strep mutans can go in and can eat and cause decay and cause all of this type of stuff, which is really bad. Now, I was trying to figure out what was going on with the front of her teeth there, because it looks like a big build up of calculus, but that's actually not what it was. I looked at another one of her videos, and it turns out she just kind of puts those little wax balls on top of the areas that are heavily decayed and stuff. Now, obviously that's not gonna stop the decay, but maybe it just stops air and stuff from getting into those decayed spots. Really, she just needs to go to a dentist. She needs to go find a dental professional that can help her with this situation, because if she's still throwing up, obviously that's gonna cause even more. She needs to get that taken care of, whether that's anti-anxiety medication or GERD medication or something to help with the stomach acid. She has decay, active decay, that is now in her teeth, and that's not gonna go anywhere, and it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse unless you actually physically remove it, take care of it, get things filled up and get things changed. So, unfortunately, she's just gonna get worse and eventually lose all these teeth, no matter how she got it, whether it's drugs, whether it's eating, or whether it's like a PTSD stress disorder like she said she had, where she's throwing up all the time and having stomach acid issues. So, it sucks because there's multiple different ways to get to this spot, but there's only one way to fix it, and that's to get the decay out of there and start fixing the problem that's causing. Scarlett says, I'm sorry for judgmental people. It sucks when you don't have the resources to get something sorted out that was out of your control. And I agree and I disagree. I do think that some of it was out of her control. She probably was younger with her parents. Her parents were taking her to get help where she needed to, and that is unfortunate. But, I'm hoping that I can educate enough people who don't have those family backings and that help there to stop things before they happen. Maybe educate you on brushing your teeth or taking care of it, or, all of these different things that maybe you can somehow, you know, prevent it from getting this bad. So when you are an adult and you're 18 or older out of your parents' house, well, you're not left with basically a terrible kind of choice to take all your teeth out or, you know, yada, yada, yada. So I wish the best for her. I hope she gets some help. I hope she, you know, figures out what's causing all the stress, because unfortunately she's just going to lose every single one of her teeth if she doesn't. And it's really unfortunate to see. But I hope dentistry gets cheaper in the future, and hopefully we can save more teeth together.
Doctor, what happens if I do 5 implants and veneers?
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Do 5 implants and veneers? Obviously, luxury, because that doctor's getting rich. But no, for real, yeah, they are probably making some money, but probably not as much.
Nothing, your teeth are gonna become nicer and
teeth are gonna be nicer and healthier. Now, obviously, you know, this looks bad, but it's playing fun. Obviously, hopefully no dentist is just magically out there telling you to get implants and veneers if you do not need them. Okay, now that's one thing. I really do believe that dentists in general are good people and they're not out there to try and scam you. Now, does that mean that there are not some corporations out there that are doing things like that to try and get a bunch of money out of you, to pay for private equity things, to make more money, to roll it up, to sell it for more? That's 100% happening some places, which is why you have to really have good head on your shoulder, get second opinions, and really make sure that you're with a dentist that you can trust. Now, the other question is, does a dentist really make, you know, an obscene amount of money on 5 implants and veneers? I mean, they probably make pretty good money on 5 implants and veneers, I won't lie, because a lot of those, you know, some of them aren't covered by insurance. They're paying cash a lot of the times for some of these. And so, yeah, they make some good money on it. But, you know, that's the whole point, is they don't really make money in a lot of other places because insurance has just crammed down their throats to where they're not paying them anymore. But, you know, that's why they went through all that school and all those things to be able to help you and make a little cash on the side too. So, you know, it's like not bad too, as long as they're doing it for the right reasons. Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, the assistant be like begging for money. Yeah, no, I mean, I totally get it. But I mean, if you want to make that type of money, which, to be honest, there's better ways to make that money, you know, than going through 10 years of dental school and paying almost, you know, $1 million in debt these days, you know. So trust me, there's different, you know, if anything, you want to look at the person making a lot of money, it's the hygienist. They don't have to go to as much school, way cheaper, and they make quite a bit of money. So I'd be looking there rather than the doctor. But, you know, shout out to all my dental professionals out there. We're all in this together. And then BNOP says, you're going to notice a solid gold Lambo in the parking lot. Maybe back in the day in the 80s and 90s, you know, nowadays, unfortunately, dentistry does not make as much money as it used to, but back in the day, you were probably seeing some gold Lambos. But I don't know, let me know, is your dentist rich, or is it just a normal dude?
A couple of weeks ago,
Marpy expansion risk.
Perfectly white, and now they are the way they are. Also, my other teeth have turned a bit yellow, so before you do the Marpy, be aware that there are some risks involved. I knew that there were risks, but I didn't think that my tooth was going to get damaged to the point where it might potentially die. I might have another dentist appointment tomorrow to check if it's still alive. I've been taking anti-inflammatory medication.
This is very odd.
I don't want to get a root canal before it's officially dead, but it's also been taken quite the toll, and it's been quite painful.
Okay, so I looked into this video, and, you know, I still cannot figure out what's going on here. So she has a Marpy that's inside her mouth, and she's saying that it's causing root damage, but that doesn't really make sense because it's not pushing up against the root. It's just pushing against the palate bones. I've never seen an issue of teeth dying using expansion or Marpies or anything. Now, yes, if it was out against the teeth and you're really cranking on it hard, but hers Marpy is up, just not even touching the teeth really. So, I mean, I don't, especially not up here. You know, maybe it could open from the back and pinch a little bit, but even that doesn't make sense why it would turn your tooth yellow. If the tooth dies, it would turn more gray or black. So that still doesn't make any sense. Now, I found another video that the doctor said that maybe it was opening the back and it was pinching something in the front that could cause this tooth to die. So they told her to stop turning it and everything, which is probably what I would do too in this situation. But still, it's bewildering me why this is turning yellow. This does not make sense.
A few moments later.
Okay, now I figured it out. For all the people in the journey along here with me, I finally figured it out. So she just made an updated video that she was using something called chlorhexidine rinse, which is, you know, it's a rinse that you would use to make sure that you're not getting bacterial infections, things like that going on, especially in the mouth, you know, when you're putting these new things in, like screws, implants, things like that, right? Now, if you don't know what chlorhexidine is, it's basically a really big disinfectant. They used it whenever they put it in her mouth to make sure that nothing got infected there when they were putting the screws in the mouth and everything for the Marpy. And she kept using the chlorhexidine rinse. And if you do not know, if you're not supposed to use it long term, and she was actually using it like a mouthwash, like it was no big deal for a long time, and that caused chlorhexidine staining on her teeth. And so that's actually why her teeth turned yellow. And they just polished it off and her teeth went back to normal, which makes a lot of sense because I was like, this does not make any sense because Marpies do not cause the death of teeth. Very usually, I don't think I've ever seen that in my entire life. Not saying it can't happen, but I've just never seen it. So now we've solved the mystery. So for those people who are getting MARPs and screws up in their mouth, don't worry. It's not as big a deal as it looks, you know, and you're definitely probably not gonna have a tooth die on you. So don't worry. I know a lot of people in the comments were worried. So now we figured it out.
If you're scared of getting your wisdom teeth removed,
you shouldn't be scared.
Drinking pineapple juice before might actually help. This is because pineapple juice contains a natural enzyme called bromelain. Over time, these enzymes begin to calm the tissue around your gums by improving blood flow and breaking down proteins that cause inflammation. So by drinking it a day or two prior, you'll likely wake up from your procedure with little to no swelling.
Now the funny thing is, that's actually true. That is actually something that actually could happen. Now actually, technically a bromelain supplement could work a little bit better than that, but it is shown that it could potentially reduce swelling, minimize pain, and speed up recovery, weirdly enough. So I just wouldn't, you don't drink it right before surgery. That would be a bad idea because you're gonna go under anesthesia and you could, you know, upchuck it and, you suffocate on pineapple juice and die. So probably don't do that, but just a couple days before your surgery or whenever your doctor tells you it's safe to do it, I don't have a problem with that. And it actually very well could work, weirdly enough. Oh my gosh, this first comment. I'm not scared of getting them removed. I'm scared of what I'll say. And the truth is, actually, that's funny. Anesthesia is kind of like a truth-telling serum, and you are probably going to say something you regret to your mother. So, be worried more about that than the surgery itself, because the surgery's not that bad. And Larpness says it really good there. You can't eat or drink anything before a tooth extraction. I'm pretty sure, yes. Exactly, because you're about to go under anesthesia, and it would cause a lot of problems, because you'd be like, but yeah, drink some pineapple juice a couple days before your wisdom teeth surgery. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. I don't know. All right, I learned this from my grandma. Okay, they're melting a toothbrush. The fun fact is, I think this is a good time while she's doing this little hack here to let you guys know, use a soft bristled toothbrush. Too many people use medium and hard bristled toothbrush. They're damaging their enamel. I don't know what she's doing with this toothbrush, but yeah, I would definitely get one of the soft bristled toothbrushes. They may seem like you're not brushing your teeth as good, but trust me, you are, okay? She's making it. She's molding it. What does grandma know about toothbrushes that I don't? I don't know yet. Another thing is a manual toothbrush works just as good as an electric toothbrush too. Well, she made an S, as long as you're brushing correctly. Okay, a little holder. Look at that. I don't know why you guys wasted my time tagging me in this, but at least now we know a little bit more about toothbrushes, and you're gonna get a soft bristled toothbrush now, aren't you? Aren't you? Yeah, I would appreciate that. And so would your teeth, actually, really. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh my gosh, look at this girl go. That is a big open bite I'm seeing there. See those teeth? You can see how they're flared forward there. My gosh, and they're just moving along. And what they're putting in there, ooh, that looks like a tongue tamer. So she has a tongue thrust. When she sticks her tongue, it flares out. Oh my gosh, let's pause there. Look at that contraption, that big old jaw steel trap. So those little fangs and those prongs are actually meant to stop your tongue. But what that does is just stop the tongue from pushing on the back of your teeth. Actually, you're supposed to swallow with your tongue to the roof of your mouth instead of on the teeth, because if you do, well, that will happen. Oh my gosh, she's a trooper though, I tell you that.
It hurts your tongue?
See how the tongue, yeah, she's not getting her tongue up there. Look at her go.
Yeah, now since you're not gonna be sucking on your fingers, you can get your nose.
Ginny G says, what if she falls though? Not judging, just curious, a tad worried. Well, if she falls, her tongue is probably gonna get impaled. Yes, it's the risk of the job, but yes, I probably wouldn't wanna fall with these things in your mouth. And then Jane Lee Twin Mom says, she will definitely thank you when she's older. And that's actually completely true, because you see, if you stop something from happening now, well, it could affect her jaw, and she could need a jaw surgery later in life if she didn't get this fixed now. Oh my gosh, she had too many sweets. Oh my gosh, okay, so I'm gonna pause right there. You can see we've got a lot of implants here. Those little metal things are not teeth. No, she does not have tiny metal teeth. Those are actually what we call implants. Those are just the kind of abutments or the buds of the implant that the tooth will sit on. Oh my gosh, and you can see, man, even when she bites down all the way, I don't know how she can bite down and not touch it there. Like, what's she biting on in the back? I have no idea. And so, yeah, you can see she snaps in those dentures, and look at her face just completely change. She's gonna become basically a normal looking person again. Just, it shows you just how crazy teeth truly are in the looks. And man, she can go right back to eating. And because those implants are really important, they make that denture completely solid, rock solid in the mouth, so you can actually eat. If you're in a normal denture without implants, well, those are the ones where, where someone's laughing and they fly out of their mouth and stuff like that. Those are really hard to eat on. They rock all the time. They cause sores on the mouth. It's a lot of bad stuff. And Natasha says, oh, you got money. And well, I mean, that's true. She had a lot of implants, and each implant cost at least probably $3,000 to $5,000 minimum, sometimes up to $10,000 an implant. So you can count the things that she's got probably close to $50,000 to $100,000 in her mouth, which is crazy. When this channel hits 10 million subscribers, I'm gonna take this bracket off live on camera. So hit that subscribe button now. All right, what do we got going on here? Oh, we are drilling and filling out as not a real tooth. Or maybe it is a real tooth. Wait, no, I don't think that's a real tooth. I think those are fake veneer teeth. But yeah, more than likely what you're seeing here is actually a temporary veneer. It's not a real veneer. It's basically you put these temporary things on before you get the final ones, and they're just made of composite, or they're made of this stuff. And then what they do is they take those off like he's doing right there, and then they slap on the real one. Holy moly. So when you look really quickly, the first thing I see is just how bright white those teeth are. I mean, they are insanely bright whites. Obviously, there is no way you can actually whiten your teeth at all at this level. In fact, your teeth are naturally yellow because the inside layer, the dentin, is yellow. The outside enamel is actually clear and see-through. I bet you didn't know that. And actually somebody down here, A, said mine for 10K. That's what a good veneer job looks like. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna pause it right at the moment. I don't even need a pause. Let's just go through this. This is what we call severe periodontitis, okay? So basically your tooth sits up in the bone, all right? And unfortunately, if there's bacteria, inflammation, disease sitting on that bone doesn't like it. So that bone will run away from that inflammation, exposing some of that root. And then that bacteria goes down, inflammation goes down, gets on top of the bone again, and then the history repeats itself, and as that bone just keeps going and going and going away. Looking at the x-ray here, you can really see there's no bone left. On the bottom, you can see some bone, but you can see how low it is. It's at the very bottom of the tooth root. And so put the dentures in there, you can see those are those same metal abutments that we've seen before, and that's what those implants will snap into. And you can see the dentures just go in, they snap right up into place. And now this lady with severe periodontal disease has teeth again. Yeah, and actually he legit is just screwing it in. And then you normally fill that with some composite so you don't see it, and then we can drill that out later and unscrew it. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of like you're at Ace Hardware store doing some hardware in somebody's mouth. But look at that difference. I mean, look at all those implants everywhere. But you can just see how happy she is. She's crying, you know, all this. It really is such a huge change in somebody's personality, their life, everything. It just makes them so happy to have teeth. And look at that. Look at that after compared to that before. That was crazy. Like, people just have the ability to drop more than a brand new car's worth of money, make these cheaper. There's no reason they should cost that much. I totally agree. I think they should cost a lot less too. And hopefully with 3D printing and new ways of doing things and some new technology coming down the pike, hopefully one day we'll be able to get it way cheaper. Oh, shark tooth ridges, shark tooth ridges. That is funny. I never really thought about the fact that shark teeth also have these ridges. Who hasn't been able to bite down? You know, those people with open bites, they don't touch their teeth here in the front. They still have a lot of their mamelons on their front. Or if you have big overrides like this, they still have some of those mamelons on the lower. Pay My Rent says, how do I get rid of them? And then KXJN said, I have it. How do I get rid of it? Well, you get rid of it just by living. You get rid of it by just eating, chewing, biting, tearing things, and they will just go down on their own over time. Oh, actually funny. Kylie says, guys, please do not use a nail file to get rid of these. It ruins your teeth and can cause pain. They'll go away on your own. That is true. All right, POV, you got teeth whitening strips from TikTok Shop, and you hear the saxophones getting louder. Oh, I know these ones. I think those are actually meant to, the green is supposed to stay on your teeth. You're supposed to just brush it off.
Oh.
Yeah, they just come right off. It's funny because these don't really work that well, if at all, really. It's another kind of one of those products that just like people are just trying to make money off people on TikTok Shop. And those were the green, you see the green there? That's actually a skin lightening thing that they put. It's like, I forget the exact name of it that's in there. So just anything purple, green, you know, all these crazy whitening trends out there, they just do not work. They're almost all scams, I promise you. If you want to trust somebody, you want a product that's really good, something nice, my company, I'm actually making good products that with stuff that works that aren't scams, okay? So if you want to go, find that. Sisyphosis, you're supposed to use a toothbrush, you tea towel. Is that a new, I don't think I've ever heard that one. I'm gonna start calling people tea towel. Hey,
what you doing, tea towel?
Oh, Look at this girl. Oh my gosh, we were talking about implants earlier. Those are some implants. Pretty sure these black ones with the little dots on them are for 3D scanning. So they can actually scan it in 3D and see everything so that they can build the denture perfectly to her mouth. That's funny. This guy says, are those capacitors? I mean, they actually do kind of look like capacitors. That's weird. And no, they're not. But I mean, look at that difference. Once again, the confidence unmatched, unchanged. And then Zach says, best 30K I ever spent. And yes, they do cost 30 to 50K for some full implants like this. A lot of times you only get like 3 to 5 on each side. What did she get? I mean, she got a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She got like 10 implants. That's like 50K plus. That's kind of insane. Oh man, we are going in. That is a wiggly biggly too. So right up before we get to the sauce, because I know you guys are waiting for it. And so we're gonna keep going and you're gonna see how loose it is. And actually what he's doing right now is he's pulling that back and forth to break up that PDL fibers, which are like little bungee cords holding your root to the bone. And then once he has that and he starts popping all those noises and so, oh yeah, you're gonna see those popping. Actually, one of my favorite things to do was pull teeth, and the fact that they didn't show us actually pulling the full tooth out really upsets me. If you're new here, I make videos like this every single week, so make sure you don't miss one and hit that subscribe button. Back to the video. Tooth hurts too bad to touch. I think I got an infection. What the heck's? What is my man doing? I can't even tell what's going on right now. So I thought this was a joke. I thought you were gonna put me. I thought he is too. I'm still confused. I'm looking at it. I'm seeing. I mean, for real though, there can be situations where teeth are this painful with just touching it. It kind of sends a shock up and can cause something like that. Trinity says, "Dang it! I wish they had tooth doctors or something for situations like this." Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If he came in and he was like, and I looked at it and there was nothing wrong with him, I don't know what I would do. Poopy says, bro, just pull it out. Yeah, dude, that Tongan guy was crazy. He just ripped that tooth right out of his face. Do you know anyone who does this when they sleep? Oh my gosh, my boy grinding. Literally, he's grinding in his sleep. And yeah, grinding is the real deal. And you know, even after all these years of dentistry, we still don't really know what causes it. We think it's stress related. We think it's a neuromuscular disorder. Could be due to posture. Could be a ton of different reasons. We really don't know. But an interesting fact is you can only put so much pressure on your teeth right now. Like if you tried to squeeze as hard as you could, your body would only let you squeeze so hard. When you're nighttime, you don't have that regulatory reflex. So that's why you can really squeeze hard. You can crack teeth, break teeth, grind teeth, cause TMJ issues, a lot of it. Lou says, how do you know if you have it when you're asleep? Well, you can see wear spots or wear facets on the teeth or little holes on the teeth. You can see like your canine and stuff. Like mine is ground completely flat because I'm doing this all night long. All right, what do we got here? A man getting some a cavity filling or something? What do we got? Oh, he's getting a little light there. Oh, he's getting himself a new canine. Oh, he's doing the Edward Cullen over here. He's getting a vampire canine. Dang, look at that. That my man looks pretty good right there. Inactive deleted TikTok says, imagine when you get really old and they're still there, like they're digging up your bones and your teeth, they're like, oh my gosh, this was a real vampire. It was straight up Dracula. All right, what do we got here going on? We got some grills going on. Oh, he's actually taking these grills off. These are interesting. Wait for this, because this is kind of gnarly. If you ever want to get permanent grills, this is how they get them off. Dude, his face is staring. Oh, he's like, oh my God, why? Dude, I know that's gotta hurt so bad. You can see his lip quivering. Yeah, so if you ever want to know why you shouldn't be getting grills that are permanent, this is one of the reasons why. And I bet you'll see his teeth are pretty nasty underneath. A lot of the time they're very brown and kind of, a lot of the time decayed too. Oh, dude, I can only imagine on the little tooth. Yeah, you can see kind of the glue stains and darkness on there. Oh! My brother in Christ, I hope you're good. I feel like you could just crack a whole tooth right off right there. Jeez. And it's like her first day on the job. It looks like she does not know what she's doing. Oh, almost swallowed $5,000 right there. And Elected said, man, why not just get grills? And I agree, you should get grills, the removable kind. Call my boy Johnny Dang down in Houston. He'll get you caught up right. He always takes care of me. Oh, we got a cavity filling here. Now that big burr that you see is actually meant for getting rid of decay. So it's a slow speed burr normally, and it goes in and just really cleans it out. Decay is actually kind of cheap. Ooh. That is interesting. They're doing a root canal, and that was actually a past root canal because they just took out the gutta percha. They're putting in a fiber post to make it a little stronger, building that in there, getting it going. We got some etching on there to get ready for the final composite. This is great. This is great. I really like the look here. Yep, we're gonna put the little polymer on there to get it ready. The bonding agent. And then we're gonna do it in layers, because if you don't do it in layers, it will actually cure wrong and it will like contract and cause a big problem. All right. Making it look really good, brushing it, smoothing it up. And those little wood pegs there are to make sure that it's basically pushed apart, so when they take them out, that the teeth contact each other. If you don't have those in there, you're gonna have gaps between your teeth and it's gonna cause a big problem. And then they're polishing everything up. Actually, it looks really good. And then pulling away the band, that was there to kind of keep the gums away and make sure that it doesn't get infected. Hadsy says, that will be $8,000, please. NK says, can someone tell me what that green rope looking stuff is? Well, normally we pack it down into the gum pocket to kind of push the gums away from the teeth so that we can create a good margin, what we call, oh, big tongue, scallop tongue.
I have tongue cancer.
Tongue cancer.
And that I'm gonna have to do a bunch of testing and they're gonna have to do a biopsy of my tongue. I hope y'all are having a better day than I am, but
that does not look like tongue cancer to me. Now, that being said, I do not know the full aspect of this girl's treatment. So that's a sign that basically you don't have enough expansion in the upper arch. Yana Yi says, where do they see cancer? I'm a dentist and all I see is a mild case of geographic tongue and teeth marks. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. On the edge here, she has just a little bit of geographic tongue, nothing crazy. KLK says, 20-year dental hygienist. Mine just looks just like that too. And actually mine does too. I probably, you can kind of see some of those ridges on mine, so, you know.
If your gums pull back and show too much of your teeth, a dentist will meticulously
It is true, so this is probably a gum flap.
Damaged area. This creates a precise flap to prepare.
Normally you get the gum from the roof of your mouth too, by the way.
Next, the dentist will take a new piece of healthy gum tissue.
You can get it from the roof of your mouth and get it from other places.
Into place. Over time, this newly grafted tissue merges with the surrounding area, which heals the gum.
XLLVT says, where in the world do they get the gum tissue from? Well, they can get it from a different site. Normally they get it from the roof of the mouth until it grows back a little bit. Do your gums not grow back, Greedy? No, it's not necessarily that your gums don't grow up and down. They do. It's just that they're attached to the bone. And so if they dissolve away and you no longer have that attached tissue, well, then you have to add in more tissue to kind of figure it out. IE Drywall says, can't you just push it back up? I wish. If you could figure out how to do that, we could make a ton of money together. My routine every time I want to eat it. Oh my gosh, taking the full thing out. Look at them go. Boom, pow, pow. So basically what you're seeing is this is a reverse pull face mask. So if you have a jaw like this is way back, right? So you want to pull it forward. So that reverse face mask fits on here so that it can pull everything that way. Check says, what in the Willy Wonka is this? That's a reverse pull face mask and probably saving him from a potential jaw surgery in the future. Sometimes straight teeth ain't worth it. Yes, they are. They are. All right. Holy mama moly. That is a very, very large piece of what we call calculus getting actually jackhammered off there. I have no idea what that little wire thing is up there. That's kind of crazy. But so basically what happens is you get this plaque and gunk that's on your teeth every day, right? And if you don't brush it off, it will harden into what we call calculus. Kind of like cement is wet and then it turns into hard cement once you leave it out and you need a jackhammer to remove it. Well, that's what you're looking at here is a piezoelectric scaler breaking off that calculus on this tooth. And this is somebody who has not brushed a back tooth like that for, I don't know, years, probably ever in their life. I've never brushed. And so you can see obviously there's a tooth in the front that's completely decayed and gone. The other tooth has got some disease in it and this one is absolutely just blasting off. Half that tooth is not even tooth, that's just a giant block of calculus. That's absolutely kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie, but this is probably low-key one of the most, I don't know, satisfying things you can do as a dentist. I absolutely loved doing this. I don't know why, but it was like, it's kind of like those videos where you're like power washing buildings and stuff. It's like, you're just making something clean. I don't know, there's just something about making something clean that's super awesome. So if you ask your hygienist, next time you go in, what the craziest piece of calculus they've seen, and if they like it, they're probably gonna be like, oh, I love it. When I get the big ones in and I get to just pop off these big things of calculus, it's awesome. But unfortunately, more than likely, once they get all this off there, that tooth is gonna be loose and probably will be completely gone. And they'll probably need to remove it, unfortunately. So what can you do about this? Well, brush and floss, obviously. That's the thing that you need to do. It's almost weird. It's like we tell you guys to do this. So, oh, makes sense now. Someone said that piece of floss didn't have a chance. That makes sense now. So I guess they tried to finally floss after a while and it just got stuck up in there, and that was that thing that we saw up there, but that was kind of crazy. Someone else says, excuse me, doc, I have a tooth in my tartar. And that's another word for it, obviously calculus and tartar. But yes, that was literally almost all tartar there, a calculus there. That was not tooth at all. So brush your teeth. All right, what do we got here? Well, that looks like a giant trampoline of gum juiciness there. And not the good kind. That is actually what we call an abscess. So you can actually see how he's moving it. That's actually one of the tests we do, is that you'll actually kind of move it, and if it turns white like that, there's probably what we call some pus or abscess or whatever in there. Basically what's happening is this person had a cavity. You can see where it got filled on the side, probably got reinfected, or the infection was not removed fully from that tooth. And so if it gets reinfected underneath something like an old cavity filling or something like that, it'll work its way down the tooth into the root, and then it will actually individually, like the infection will get so big that it comes out of the tooth root and it has to go somewhere. So it goes through the bone and into the gum tissue, causing that abscess. So what you have to do, you'll actually pop that, you'll squeeze it like a pimple, get everything out of there, and then you'll get the person on antibiotics. They'll have to get a root canal to get everything out of there, and then they will be hopefully protected. Sometimes it'll fail, all that type of stuff. They may have to get it fully removed, but needless to say, kind of gnarly, but you know, it is what it is. What can you do about this? Well, you need to get cavity fillings done, and then if you have any sense or sign, obviously this is why you have your 6-month or yearly checkups with the dentist, is so that you can actually look and make sure things aren't getting reinfected and you're not getting abscesses forming like this. And yes, it is painful. Speaking of painful, Zol says, I have a tooth abscess right now as I'm watching this, and it's killing me. And yes, it's, I mean, when you have something pushing on all those nerves and blood vessels and everything, yes, it's painful. And so a lot of people go to the doctor and assume that the antibiotics, because it kind of takes the abscess down a little bit and causes that pain to go away, and so then they leave it. That's the mistake. You have to get the actual infection removed, or else it's just going to keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. So yes, you do have to get it fixed. You can't just take some antibiotics and fix this. It has got to be everything. All right, we're going to lighten it up with this next one and see what a good teeth whitening routine is before we get right back into the craziness. Let's go ahead and go with it. You guys told me this was a great tooth whitening routine, and she does look like she has some white teeth, so let's see what she does.
Boyfriend's teeth when I first met him, and here's my boyfriend's teeth now. Yeah,
Okay,
I did change
all
his
right.
life. I'm going to go ahead and put you on my routine, but before we get started, disclaimer, I literally do have to put this in here. I am no dental hygienist. I am no dentist, so please, low-key, take this with a grain of salt, but like, low-key, genuinely, like, pay attention though.
You know, first off, I like this girl. She said she's not a dentist, she's not a dental hygienist. Take this with a grain of salt. This is what I do. Hey, my teeth are white. This is what I do. So let's go ahead and see. And it does look like her teeth are actually white, and it does not look like she's using the teeth whitening filter.
Get in between every single teeth, U-shape. There's nothing funny about losing teeth when you're 37. It will happen. Don't think it won't happen. This is not necessary. You want to make sure you got all that gunk out of between your teeth. You need to go with water pick. I go in with, this is actually the #1 rated by dentists. I put a little proportion of this with a little bit of warm water going with on my teeth.
All right, so far she said floss your teeth. Obviously that's not going to do anything for the whitening, but hey, I respect it. The second thing she did was she did some Act mouthwash, which is normally a fluoridated mouthwash, and some warm water in a water pick. And so basically what that means for me is, I mean, that's not going to do anything once again to whiten it. I don't hate it. The only thing I would say about this is you got to be careful about putting mouthwashes into water flossers, because the artificial sugars in them usually will kind of clog up the water flosser. So if you are going to do that, make sure you rinse it out with water afterwards. So let's go ahead and continue on seeing what she does next.
These are my two toothpastes. You cannot get one of these toothpastes without the other. Your teeth will be sensitive. Gums and gingivitis as well. And this one's for whitening. Electrical toothbrush.
Okay, so this one, we got an electric toothbrush with 2 different types of toothpaste. She says maybe she uses one in the night and one in the afternoon or whatever, but like that. So it looks like she's using the advanced white from Crest and then Sensodyne. So she said you got to use Sensodyne because your teeth are going to be absolutely crazy sensitive after this. And so that kind of worries me a little bit, because the thing is, I just don't like whitening toothpaste. They just tend to not really work. And if they do work, it's normally not because of a good thing. So we do know that Crest whitening toothpaste are of a very high RDA, or dentin abrasion limit. And the way that they do whitening is one in 2 different ways. Hydrogen peroxide, which is great. That's what actually whitens your teeth. And then high abrasiveness to kind of polish off any of the top stain and enamel of your teeth. Now, if you do this over time, it's going to be really bad for your teeth because they get really sensitive. And then you end up wearing the enamel down so that you see the inner dentin layers, which is yellow, and causes it to be even more yellow. So while this can work, I say stay away from any whitening toothpaste. If you really do want something, get like a 10% nanohydroxyapatite. That's really going to help fill in the micro defects and kind of brighten the teeth. But unfortunately, I'm just not a big fan of whitening toothpaste because they're just so highly abrasive. Really, the thing that you need is the hydrogen peroxide. So not a big fan of this. I would switch these 2 out for like a 10% nanohydroxyapatite. Even if they whiten whiten a little bit better, they're gonna damage your teeth long-term potentially. Now, if they're a hydrogen peroxide toothpaste with a heavy level of hydrogen peroxide, it's still only on your teeth for like 2 minutes, so it's just not gonna work that well.
This helps make sure my teeth are extremely white, but also my gums stay very healthy as well. It's not whitening strips. Actually, don't even use them that often. Like, genuinely, y'all, I probably whiten my teeth maybe 3 times a year.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna hold you guys. I don't need to.
Yep. So this is, I think, where things go.
Itself. It literally is a whitening toothpaste.
Okay, so that's her routine. So bingo. Number 4 was actually the thing that really whitened her teeth, even though she thinks it may be the toothpaste using it slowly over time. Yes, a whitening toothpaste like we went over will whiten slowly a couple little shades, but mostly it could be at a detriment to your actual enamel, unless it's just purely hydrogen peroxide and the RDA limits are less. You can search up those and see where your toothpaste ranks on that. But the actual Crest 3D whitening strips, I actually really like a lot. I mean, we even have our own whitening strips and they work really good, but Crest 3D whitening strips work really well as well, actually, you know, and I do think that's where a majority of her whitening is actually coming from. Not the toothpaste, not the water flossing, not that type of stuff. I do like the flossing, I do like all the other stuff she's doing, but if you really just are looking for white teeth, yes, hydrogen peroxide or carbamide peroxide whitening strips are really the only suggestion you should be looking at. Everything else is pretty much a scam, from PAP Plus to the purple ones to the green ones to all these other ones. They're all scams. They do not work. It is literally hydrogen peroxide and carbamide peroxide, which is doing what you want it to do. If it's not those two things, it's either doing nothing or harming you. Either way, I like this girl and I think she did a great job on her routine. What do you think? Alrighty. Ooh, we got some gum over. Oh my goodness, that is way worse than I thought it was going to be. Please put that back down. Put that back down. That is absolutely crazy, bro. And so actually what you're looking at is a couple things. So we saw some earlier videos where we had calculus, we have stuff that forms. It's normally white, but you can have really bad necrotizing calculus like this that is this darker, nasty color. And obviously here's the deal. Your gums don't like inflammation. It doesn't like plaque and calculus and gunk all over it. And so sometimes you'll get this thing called gingival hyperplasia, where the gums will actually grow over everything as the bone dissolves on the inside, and it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what that does is make it harder and harder to clean, and just gets worse and worse and worse. And so what you're seeing here is absolutely disgusting. Not a big fan of this at all. So what is going to happen here? Well, there's a couple things you can do. I think this is beyond the point of just brushing and flossing to get it to come down. They're probably going to need a gingivectomy, where they go in and they actually remove all the gum tissue there, and then they're going to have to see what the damage is. More than likely, if it's gotten this bad, there has been some bone loss, and so they're gonna have to see how much bone is around these lower teeth. If there's not a lot of bone, then they will probably lose a few teeth, and then they got to get a scaling root planning like we saw, where they take off all the gunk and nastiness around the teeth and clean it back up, and then the person has to actually brush and floss to be able to take care of it from now on. That is actually crazy. I don't think I've ever seen something that bad underneath. That's like a whole nother bacteria colony growing up underneath there. That's a whole new world that I do not want to be a part of, if you know what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and see what the comments say. Oh my gosh, that photo was literally like what I was just saying. I was just like, and then Biba says, I just discovered a new phobia. Yeah, you know, I thought I've seen everything as a dentist, and if that walked into my office, I would be like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? It looks like everybody had the same reaction I did with all those pictures. Oh my gosh, it's so true. Needless to say, just another 100th reason why to brush and floss your teeth. All right, so what do we got here?
Okay, this is day one of...
What is it, my man?
This new bracing system that I've invented. I went through Smile Direct a few years ago to straighten up my front teeth. Well, they went bankrupt.
It's almost like I could have told you, and maybe did tell you for the past 6 years, about the Smile Direct Club and tried to get you guys to not use it. And yes, he's very correct. They are bankrupt now, unfortunately, because, you know, they didn't work like I told you guys they wouldn't. But anyways, it looks like this man, I'm assuming, is trying to move his teeth with a rubber band around his ear, but I am confused. Let's see what else he has to say here.
I can't afford to do this again through a company, so I have come up with this operation here called Hillbilly Braces.
Oh my gosh, so that is what he's really doing. He really is trying to kind of move it there. And unfortunately, that's what we saw with the Smile Direct Club stuff is there were so many people that got bamboozled there and it didn't work. And so they had to come in and they had to get us to actually fix it, which is really stinky for them because they had to pay a ton of money to do Smile Direct. I was like, bro, we could have done that for the same price. But anyways, there's a couple issues with this is because the reason why Smile Direct Club doesn't work is the same reason why this won't work. One, obviously you need force over time in braces. And so obviously, unless he's gonna keep this thing around his ear all day long for the next 6 months or so, I think his ear will probably get chopped off and have a sore before he actually does any actual movement. And the other reason is he's got crowding, guys. And so you guys realize that crowding is just a puzzle piece problem where the puzzle pieces are too big for the jaw that he's got. And so basically in real braces, you have to do things. You have to polish between the teeth, you have to get rid of some of the space, and then you have to move things and expand things and do things that a rubber band like this is just not gonna do. So what is this gonna do? It's probably just gonna put pressure on the teeth for a little bit, make it sore, and then go back and forth doing that forever. Could cause root loss, could cause bone loss, could cause problems here. So no, this isn't gonna work. It's just gonna cause some pain to his ear and you move it. If it does anything, it's gonna move the tooth potentially, but then it's just gonna cause that crowding everywhere else in here. And it's just gonna relapse back without a retainer or anything like this. So unfortunately, no rubber band braces like this have been tried before. People have tried to close gaps with it and stuff like that. Now, if you're closing a gap, it's a little bit different because you have space and then you're just pushing that together and causing the space to come somewhere else. But in crowding like this, you gotta have the polishing. There's a reason why Smile Direct Club didn't work for you, and that's way more advanced than a rubber band around your ear. And so unfortunately, to fix this, you're gonna have to go to an orthodontist, probably get 6 to 12 months of Invisalign or some braces. It's not a hard fix, it's just you gotta use the right tools to actually fix the problem. I call myself a victim of Smile Direct Club. Hope one day there will be a class action. I think there was a class action, multiple class actions actually. So you might want to look into that. And then someone says day 100 and it's got his little ear closer to his teeth than his actual tooth, which actually could be the thing, I mean, like I said, it will cause a sore there and we'll start cutting into it pretty quickly. Ears are not the strongest, and definitely your teeth are way stronger than your ears are. So maybe just don't do this. All right, what do we got here? You guys tagged me a ton of this. I'm not gonna lie, I can't speak Spanish. Someone else is gonna have to tell me what's going on here, but I do think I understand what you guys are talking about. And that's the fact that my man is missing 4 teeth. He got them all extracted. And unfortunately, if you guys have been following me a long time, you know that I'm not a big fan of this. When I see this come in to my dental office, I get kind of sad. A lot of times they're coming in for a second opinion. They get their teeth removed. They come in, they're like, I just don't know quite what's going on. And then I'm like, why didn't you come to me before you got your teeth out? Because here's the reality is 95% of you do not have to get your teeth out, okay? There's people that are more old school that were trained in the 70s and that was how they did it because of flaring and all these other problems which we can get into. You do not have to do that anymore with these self-ligating braces and with these new IPR techniques where you can polish around the teeth. The thing is we can expand now. We can use the self-ligating braces. We can polish between the teeth just to take away just the right amount to cause, not too much flaring and things like that. And so you do not need to get 4 teeth taken out anymore. The problem with getting 4 teeth taken out is you take these out and then they're gonna close the space. See, if you have crowding and overbite and stuff like that, it's probably gonna get taken care of by about 1/3 of that tooth space. And then you have 2/3 of that space still wide open. So you've got everything straight, everything looking good, but you still have 2/3 of that space. And so what they have to do from there is they have to slam those teeth backwards. And you know what happens with that? Your lips go back along with it. And so this young man or young woman who's in their prime age, they're gonna be looking awesome, and then these lips are just gonna go, and they're gonna get sucked back, and the nose and chin are gonna stay there, and they're gonna end up looking more like the Wicked Witch of the West with the big chin, the big nose, and then the lips way back here, right? And that's not what we want. We want it to be fuller. We want a good E-line, what they call it. Nose, lips, chin, all in the same point there. You want them all together in the same line. If you pull everything back like that, you're going to have a worse E-line. You're gonna have a worse aesthetic facial profile. And it's also gonna cause breathing issues because it's less room for your tongue and your airway and your space like that. So it sucks, but no, please do not get your teeth taken out if you can help it. I mean, yes, he's still gonna have a good result and he's gonna look awesome, but there's going to be things that can cause problems later down the line. Maybe sleep apnea, maybe his profile's not gonna look as good, all of those things where he could have done it so much easier, better, faster, and honestly just had a way better result if he just wouldn't have gotten these teeth out. Now that being said, there is a small 5% where it's just so crowded you can't do anything, or they're what we call bimax protrusion, where their lips are just way out here and they can barely close their mouth, and then yes, okay, of course you're gonna need to get teeth out if you are a rare case like that we need to do that. But even then, still, you know, I may take out one set of teeth on somebody a year in our practice, and it shows you how rare it really is. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Did you get your teeth out when you had braces, or are you someone who got lucky and got to, you know, not have the teeth removed? Because I am so glad I did not have teeth removed. All right, I think, oh my gosh, dude, that tonsils, man, didn't know garlic was gonna shoot out of it like that. Oh my gosh, and the water flosser approach. Fun fact, I was the first person to ever invent a water flosser that was actually made for tonsil stone removal. Oh my gosh, this is bad. I don't know if I can watch this whole thing, guys. This one's scraping stuff out. Try not to do that either, because you can damage your tonsils. You can see how red her tonsils are. The Q-tip approach, that's the old school way of doing it. And honestly, if you don't have our old water flosser, which is now discontinued, unfortunately, until version 2 comes out, it might be your best bet. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna stop it there because that is just too much for me, guys. I think you guys are probably either gagging yourself or you're thinking to yourself, how the heck does this happen, Bentus? And it's really interesting. Your tonsils have these things called crypts in them. They're little, you know, crypts, little crevasses in your tonsils. And you get food and gunk. When you chew it up, little tiny bits of that food get stuck in one of those crevasses. And when you swallow, it causes the muscles around there to compress, and it compresses it a little bit, and then more food compresses, and then more food compresses, and it creates this almost like a pearl, like you're a clam making a pearl, but you're creating a stinky, rotten food pearl in your tonsils. And then slowly over time, those build up and get stuck. Now, you can tell if you have these if you're somebody who brushes your teeth all the time, and people are like, bro, your breath stinks. Go brush your teeth. And you're like, bro, I just got done brushing my teeth. What the heck? Another thing is you feel something scratchy in the back of your throat. That could be another thing that you find. Or two, if you open your mouth and you see those little white balls kind of sticking out there in the back, those are signs that you're probably somebody who gets these tonsil stones. I got them. That's why I invented the AquaClean Duo, the very first water flosser to actually do that. Now, we've discontinued that until version 2 comes out. You can see the new box for it here. That'll come out in a couple months. I know you guys have been asking me a ton. Now, if you use a regular water flosser, it is very harmful to the tissue because it is too high powered. So, you know, unfortunately, probably your best bet is using like a Q-tip with some Vaseline on it for now or if you have one of our old water flossers, obviously it's still awesome for it. But don't worry, we are coming back out with the water flosser. You guys will see it. There's a whole nother story around that guy why we had to stop selling that one I don't want to get into. But needless to say, this is crazy and a big problem. So yeah, but once you get these removed, you can gargle with like a mouthwash or something daily to try and prevent that food from getting, you know, stuck in there over time. So either way, kind of gnarly. Eli Code says, what causes tonsil stones? Well, I just told you, you heard that one. Snow Pancake says, tonsil stones are literally the human versions of pearls. And I actually said that too. That's crazy. It's almost like you guys know exactly what I'm thinking these days. All this 6 years of educating you guys is finally working. Dick Sausage says, they smell like wonderful roses. No, they don't. And if anybody's had tonsil stones and squeezed them together and smelled them, oh my gosh, you know exactly what I'm talking about and why your breath rinks if you haven't.
Crunchy.
The one bite of food right after brushing your teeth.
I think crunchy.
And the face. It is always so bad.
Not crunchy.
So if you've ever brushed your teeth before in your life, you probably have had this issue. You brush your teeth, you don't think anything of it, and then you have to have your first bite of food for the day. Normally breakfast and normally orange juice along with it to make it even worse. And you take that first swig or that first bite and it tastes terrible. Somehow that minty toothpaste just turned into the nastiest taste that you could ever have. Well, there's actually a scientific reason for that. And also, weirdly enough, why our toothpaste doesn't have that problem. So you see, there's a thing in your toothpaste called SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, and it's actually basically a soap. It's meant to be used to foam up all your stuff. Now, it's actually a detergent, so same, you know, detergent like you're washing your clothes, and so that detergent suds up. Guess what? It foams. And you guys love the foamy experience, don't you? Well, that is until you realize that it alters your taste buds. And then when you go to eat something or drink something, well, it tastes terrible. Now, it's not only SLS, there is multiple other ingredients. I mean, if you look at the back of a Crest or a Colgate tube, you're probably gonna see all these different ingredients you can't pronounce. And yes, those chemicals alter your taste buds as well. It's just SLS is the main one. And that's actually why when we developed ours, we went into aftertaste protection. We got rid of all those weird chemicals, especially SLS, that cause that taste bud disruption. And then now when you brush your teeth with ours, you can brush your tongue as much as you want. And guess what? You can drink your orange juice right after and it doesn't taste like anything. And the people who obviously have used our toothpaste know that. But yeah, it's a fun fact. And Monkey Boy brings up a good point here. Says, y'all don't brush after you eat? And like, I could understand that. You eat first and then you brush your teeth. That's a good question. The only problem is if you're gonna do that, you wanna wait at least 30 30 minutes to an hour before you brush your teeth. Because if you actually eat before, you can cause all this acidity to enter and weaken the tooth structure. And then if you go brush your teeth directly after you eat, you actually can damage that enamel and cause it to rip away. So actually what you should do is brush your teeth, wait 30 minutes to an hour, and then finally eat. Or I guess if you want to brush your teeth after you eat, just wait that 30 minutes, an hour that way too. So you can do it either way. And then Kristen says right there, orange juice. Yes, orange juice is the worst, but as I showed you guys when we actually first developed our Zero and now Zero Pro, I went and drank a bunch of that orange juice and you can't taste a thing. So yeah, that's the reason why it tastes nasty, and that's the reason why, you know, you don't have that issue with ours. So if you're using a regular toothpaste, well, I'm sorry for you. All right, brushing my teeth until they shine white, day 65. This man's is still at this. This was actually done a while back, so he's probably been doing this for a while. Anyways, so disclosing tablet, as you saw there, not a big deal. The Marvis Ginger toothpaste, that's not gonna be too abrasive for your tooth, but it's obviously not gonna really whiten anything. Okay, now he's using some whitening. Yeah, the blue T-strips don't do anything unless it's hydrogen peroxide. You're really not gonna, oh my gosh, he's using purple stuff. Well, this is actually funny because now you can actually see, instead of a scam, you can actually see what it really does. Let's see. So obviously you can see his tooth color there. He does the high smile. Let's see if I can pause it right after before he goes to the next one. Boom! And you can see his teeth are basically the same color. He's just in a lighter area, and it didn't really do what it does, obviously. Or else, you know, if he'd been using High Spot for the past 30 days, they'd probably be bleach white according to them. So, no. Okay, oh my gosh, now he's using the charcoal Colgate toothpaste. So this, I don't know if Colgate specifically is an enamel safe formula, but charcoal toothpaste in general I would avoid because they're very highly abrasive and they can actually damage the tooth. And then coconut oil, you know, once again, not really gonna do anything. You know, you can do it if you want to, but it's really not gonna be a crazy whitener. Honestly, what would have been better for this guy is if he would have used like hydrogen peroxide as a mouthwash or something. I think that would get his teeth a lot whiter. But another thing to note is, I mean, if he's been doing this for 66 days, you can kind of tell his teeth are still fairly yellow. So he literally could have just used a box of hydrogen peroxide whitening strips or rinse his mouth with hydrogen peroxide or something, and it's had way better effect than what he's doing here without the potential damaging of his gum tissue by scrubbing and rubbing all the time, and his enamel as well. Proof that brushing your teeth every day won't make your teeth white. And you're right, brushing your teeth isn't really meant to whiten your teeth. It's actually meant to get the plaque and gunk off of your teeth so that bacteria can't eat away at it. Now you can get hydrogen peroxide whitening toothpaste, but it's such a small amount, it doesn't really do much. Nobi says that's not really healthy for your teeth. And yes, I agree, it is probably not very healthy for your teeth, especially, you know, abrasive things like the charcoal toothpaste, brushing really hard over everything, trying to rip off your enamel to get that stain, not a good way to do it. But you know what, I'm just an orthodontist. I'm just an orthodontist. Oh my gosh, Mr. Wiggly, holy mama moly.
It's not looking too good.
What I see right off the bat is you can see a lot of his roots showing. And this is basically periodontal disease. So basically, as you can see here, this is what a healthy-ish tooth would look like. It's the start of that perio disease, and then it will slowly dissolve that bone over time and leave the tooth without basically something inside there. This is what it would look like from the other side, where you have that nice gum tissue and then slowly it just fades away. And so if you look at his, you can kind of see where he's at in that stage where that bone loss is happening because of all that inflammation and nastiness in there, and it's just slowly causing that bone to dissolve away until, well, you get to the wiggly point where you got nothing left to hold in your tooth.
This tooth.
Yeah, it's definitely not gonna make it.
It's not looking too good. It's even moving when I talk now. It's literally just hanging. You could just see it hanging.
I'll tell you how long it's gonna last, not very long. Yeah, once it's that bad and you have that bad of periodontal disease, that tooth is kind of hopeless. There's no really way to solve it. So he's gonna have to pull that tooth and probably get an implant in that place, because if you don't get an implant, that bone will just dissolve on you. You need something to stimulate that bone inside where that root was. And O. Airy says, periodontal disease. As a hygienist, it's the saddest thing to see, super preventable. And that's true. And how do you prevent it? Brushing and flossing, particularly flossing for periodontal disease. And Michelle says, I recently noticed my gums are receding and this is my worst nightmare. I can't afford the dentist. Well, that could be not periodontal disease. Sometimes, in fact, a lot of the time, when I see gum recession, it's because you're brushing too hard. Our high, 4.0 GPA overachievers actually tend to have gum recession, not periodontal disease, because they're brushing so hard. Because there's actually, the way you know is you look at their toothbrush and their toothbrush is like, it's like sprayed out there like that. But definitely, if you're starting to see actual gum loss, you're starting to see black triangles, you're starting to see the root itself, then yeah, you probably have periodontal disease. So make sure you floss. It's really important. Yes, or else you're gonna end up looking like that. All right, what do we got here? A little grill. ASMR, okay. Let's check out these grills, because I'm pretty, okay. That's actually a pretty fire grill, I'm not gonna lie. Oh my gosh, that's a little weird. Okay, I see you. See, the only problem with grills like these, and even though the design is awesome, love the design, is that they really cause a problem with the bite. Dude, that looks sick. Okay, let's pause it here. That looks sick. But as you can see at the end, he's got a lot of space between his teeth where he's holding up there because basically he's hitting on all metal. Now, what this does is over time, actually, if you're wearing these all day long, it can cause an open bite. And the way it happens is basically, if you have your teeth wedged open all the time, you get space back here in the back. And then those teeth over time want to touch each other. So they'll actually start to come down until they hit each other. And we actually use this in orthodontics to fix deep bites. But if you're accidentally doing it overly like this, then basically his teeth will touch in the back and that space and gap you see in the front will be permanent, and then he'll have an open bite. So I would definitely not do a permanent grill like this because, well, it would really cause an issue with him long term. It would be very painful to eat as well. But even as a temporary, you can wear it out at night, you know, maybe for a special occasion, but I would not wear these all the time because it will cause dental problems. I know it tastes like metal. Yeah, I mean, I can, it's almost like I feel like I got a penny in my mouth when I see stuff like that. I don't know if that's normal or not. Does anybody else have that feeling? Felix says, you're not supposed to eat it. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, I totally did not. I just totally glanced over the fact that he was just chomping on them bad boys. He was literally eating them like a bag of Doritos. I think I've just been tagged in too many crazy videos. I'm just numb to it at this point. Either way, they look cool. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I cannot read that at all. I don't speak of whatever language that is, but let's see what we got, because apparently a lot of you guys tagged me in this one. Okay, ooh, my gosh, okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, man. Yeah, that is some nastiness going on up underneath there. I was literally about to pause it. If you look at the very beginning there, you can see all this kind of darkness around here. Now, this is one of the reasons why I don't like tourist dentistry unless, you know, we've been getting better over the years, but this is one of the bigger issues I've seen is when you don't get someone who's like a big professional at these things. Now, this could be very well a temporary or something weird's going on there, but like looking underneath it looked pretty decayed. So this is kind of normally what I see is basically when they make these crowns or bridges or whatever, they say, we're gonna make you veneers across your front teeth, and then they don't make you veneers. They shave everything off and then they slap some big fat thing on here like this where the margins are not sealed, everything is not hygienic, and when you have wide open margins around there that aren't perfectly sealed to your teeth, food, gunk, nastiness can get up inside there and start infecting the teeth. And so we can kind of fast forward to when he pops them off here and he's going in, and that's obviously one thing I don't want to do anyways is have that little thing ripping it off. And you can see now some of that is going to be glue, some of that is going to be maybe an amalgam filling or something in there, but if you really look at it up close, like it's not the greatest looking, and there very well could be some decay and some nastiness in there. And my guess is she probably didn't even need all this. She probably had really pretty teeth that could have been just polished, or maybe some light composite veneers or something like that, and instead they talked her into shaving all these teeth down, popping in this, you know, nasty bridge and kind of ruining the whole front of her teeth, which is really unfortunate to see. And actually, when I was in dental school, we were screening, and I had this 18-year-old kid who went to Mexico. They tricked him into getting full crowns around every tooth. It was the same issue where we call them Coke bottle crowns, where basically there's no sealing, there's no whatever, and they had all rotted out. And at 18 years old, I had to tell this kid we had to pull every single one of his teeth and go into dentures. It was miserable. So if you're gonna do tourist dentistry, at least try and really find some good reviews and find people who are trained and know what they're doing. All right, how dentists remove your wisdom teeth. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, what a weird angle. Yeah, I wish it came out that easy. And we are sewing it up. Okay, let's go back to this and see kind of really quickly what we got here. So the tooth goes in. The first thing I see is it shows like it's cracking and breaking the tooth inside of it. That doesn't normally happen. In fact, it just kind of gets stuck there. Now, sometimes it does dissolve away that tooth over a long period of time, but it doesn't have enough eruptive force to literally like shatter and break your tooth eventually. That would be bad if that could happen. But it can cause problems over time. And you can also get food and gunk that gets up underneath there and starts to decay it and cause an abscess if you don't take care of it. So then they're gonna give some anesthetic here and get it all back together. They're gonna lift it up. Now he just literally pulls it out there. That's not really what happens normally. Normally what you would do is actually section it down the middle, and you can pull one out and then you can pull the other side out. Obviously you can't pull it from the side because, you know, there's bone there in the real way. So definitely not as easy as that. And then he did clear out and kind of shave out the inside there. We do try and flush it out, and they do try and kind of polish any rough edges of bone and things like that. And then they do sew it up here at the front, just kind of weird thing. And then it does heal up. Hopefully not with a dry socket if you listen listen to your dentist and don't, suck on straws or eat spicy foods or anything like that. And also, even though this looks crazy, it's not as bad as it looks. Trust me, wisdom teeth have come a long way and they're way easier to get out now than they ever have been. So don't be too scared of them if you do have to get your wisdom teeth out. And Cy B says, why can't humans evolve to have no wisdom teeth? And actually, fun fact, we are kind of evolving to have no wisdom teeth. In fact, the rates of people missing wisdom teeth have gone way up over the years. And now, I would say 1 out of every 5 patients I see has missing wisdom teeth. So it's gonna be eventually a couple more generations down the line, you probably never have wisdom teeth again. And that's interesting because this Ismail says the wisdom tooth can't grow in modern life people due to our narrow and recessed maxilla. Yeah, there's actually a lot of different things. Obviously, we're not eating hard enough foods like we used to back in caveman times. So the bone's not strengthening and getting out. There's a lot of airway problems because of that. People are not training their tongues properly. You got your mewing crowd and all that out there to kind of help with that. We've got expanders, all these things to do. I like that. It says, they call it a wisdom tooth, yet it grows like it has none. I don't have anything to add to that. That's a perfect way to end this video. But I don't know, let me know if you've gotten your wisdom teeth out. Oh my gosh, what do we got here? The cyst in my mouth has popped. Oh, that does not look like a cyst, brother. That looks like a mucocele. Yeah, and so what that is basically when you get these little mucus glands or saliva glands in your mouth, if you bite them or accidentally chomp on them or whatever, they can get swollen, inflamed, and then they basically kind of fill up. Now they can be watery if it's more of a salivary one, or it can be a mucus forming one and cause a mucocele, which we're gonna see here. Oh my gosh, does he pop it? Yeah, it literally just comes out normally like a little gummy blob. Yeah, there it is. Oh, the boogie, mouth boogie. And yeah, that's a mucocele. Now, sometimes, unfortunately, these do keep coming back and you have to get a surgery to deal with it, but a lot of the times you just pop it, never comes back, and you never deal with it ever again. So
it's clear, but
dude, bro, stop playing with your mucocele. What are you doing? That's so weird. Tachi says, is that filler? What is that? That is not filler. That's a mucocele. Nido goo. Ugh. Now I'm never gonna play with the Nido again and not think about a mucocele. So thanks for that. This is me literally watching you right now. That's how I feel all the time when I see this. But I promise you, after years and years, I've been doing dentistry for over a decade now. You get used to it over. I'm numb to this. I've seen it all, and trust me, it gets way worse. Is it just me or is her teeth wiggling? No, seriously, this girl says, I think my teeth are broken. What's going on with me? And you guys tagged me a bunch saying this, why the heck is her teeth moving? Okay, I thought braces were supposed to straighten them up, not make them all wibbly jibbly. Well, what if I told you that that's actually kind of the point? And then the fact that her teeth are moving means that her braces are working. You see, because to straighten up your teeth, we have to move them through the bone. That's right, your teeth have to move through the bone. And the way it works is through these things called PDL fibers. These fibers are like little bungee cords attached to your teeth everywhere. And when they push to one side, it actually dissolves the bone to make them tight again. And then the one that's really tight, it actually grows bone on the other side, moving it through the bone, almost digging away at one side and regrowing it back behind it. And in early stages, when we have severe crowding on somebody, if we're turning and moving and everything like this, that bone has not really caught up yet. And so yes, you can wiggle and that tooth is actually movable. In fact, the first time I saw this, whenever I was in dental school, I was in my orthodontist residency, and I pulled out somebody my first time, and one of their back teeth was literally like moving up and down when I took the wire out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm ruining this person's teeth. And then finally I figured out, no, that is completely normal and it's totally okay. Now, once we get into the bigger wires and they're set for a while, that bone will regrow. Actually, this is why we have you wear retainers for 3 months straight, because we want that bone to reform and solidify those teeth so they're not so wiggly biggly on their own. Let's see what they said in the comments. Someone said, this is how my crazy teeth falling out dreams start. And actually, it could be, weirdly enough, maybe it connects to your brain and makes you dream about it or whatever, but it's actually a really common dream to have teeth falling out. Someone said, yo, don't scare me, I just got braces. And like I said, nothing to be scared about. Now, I wouldn't overly go crazy, be doing this over and over and over again, because you can cause issues if you just continue to play with it and mess with it like that. But overall, not a problem at all. Doesn't mean it's not a crazy party trick though.
I don't think people are realizing how serious this whole I do braces discourse is. That's your skull. This is in your skull. Like, it's way deeper than what it is. Like, that's literally, they're moving the bones in your skull. Seriously.
Okay, so at first I had no idea what she was talking about, and then I looked up this I Do braces, and I'm not gonna lie, I can totally see where she's coming from. So basically, this girl is one of multiple people in my lifetime of educating you guys over the past 7 years who is doing what we call basement braces. Unfortunately, this girl is going a little bit above and beyond. I looked into some of her stuff, and it's pretty scary, I'm not gonna lie. She's doing like full braces on crazy crowded people, putting power chains on them instantly, putting them in wires they're not supposed to be, doing all this crazy stuff with God knows what hygiene status there, because I do not even want to get into that. But unfortunately, this is really insane. And in fact, there was even a video where she was like, I don't understand, people are doing everything they're not supposed to be doing all the time. Why can't I be doing stuff that I'm not supposed to be doing? Why is it a problem when I do it? And it's because you could literally harm people and really ruin their entire mouth. You could actually cause them to lose all their teeth if you're doing this wrong. I mean, there's a reason why I have a master's in craniofacial growth and development, and why I even went out of dental school and in residency still didn't know what I was doing. So I was even a dentist and still didn't even know what I was doing. I had to go through residency to figure this stuff out. Needless to say, it is actually insane that people are doing this, but I don't know, what does this tell us about the world? Does this tell us that economic times have gotten so hard that people have to go to a basement braces person to get their dreams done? Maybe so, and maybe we need to do a better job trying to get prices down, which we're actually trying to do right now with our Wingcrest Orthodontics. We're trying to be the most affordable orthodontics care in the world eventually one day. But until then, please, please, please do not go to these people that tout and do all this type of stuff, because I promise you, your teeth are not something to play with. If you move teeth too fast, the bone will dissolve around that tooth, and that tooth will eventually just fall out. Not only that, but if you're putting too much pressure on, you can cause the roots to dissolve on your teeth and start to shorten this way, causing the length of your entire mouth's teeth to go down. Then you're gonna have to get dentures, you're gonna have to get implants, you're gonna do all this stuff that's way more expensive than God knows how much you're paying to get some basement braces from I Do Braces over here. Now, obviously, she's probably gonna get found out by, police and everything like this. She's probably gonna get arrested, because this is a literal like felony. You can't impersonate a doctor, you can't do medical stuff under the guise of just, I said so, I want to do this. And she's touting it online and like making ads about it online, which is kind of crazy. But I don't know, let's see what the people in the comments have to say. This is Tyler Bright. Janae says, the idea of basement braces even reaching any level of success truly scares me. That's kind of what I was saying. I was like, man, is the economy really that bad? Hint, it is getting pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. But still, I mean, to a point that you have to go do this is kind of insane. And then Taylor says kind of what I was saying. Regular dentists can't even do braces. That's a specialty. Braces are that serious. And that's what I was saying. When I came out of dental school, I knew jack squat about braces. And to be able to do it, it even took me 2.5 years to get comfortable with doing it on my own in residency. And Ash says, that's why braces are called orthodontics. Ortho is in bones. And he's not wrong. Those teeth are moving through your bone. It's moving through your jawbone. And if you're moving too fast, that bone is going to dissolve and those teeth are going to fall out. Not to mention a bunch of other things. She could be causing infections in the teeth. They could not be cleaning them. They could have cavities. She's putting braces over the top of them, and then now you're getting an infection and a disease. And if that disease goes up through your cavernous sinus, through your skull, you could literally die. It is important. I mean, I laugh, but this is all really serious. And apparently she's even traveling across state lines. You could pay her to fly to you and do this stuff. That's insane. I don't know. What do you guys think down below? Let me know, because this is pretty wild. All right, what do we got here? Oh, I think I know where this is going. Oh yeah, getting a rubber band trick. The caption says, is this too much? That is a lot of rubber bands already. Oh my gosh, they're still going. He's probably thinking in my head, he's like, you tell me I gotta remember where all these go? I can barely remember how to do one rubber band. You're giving me 25,000. But further, you guys actually tagged me for a reason other than the rubber bands. I mean, some of you guys are like, is this really real? You wear this many rubber bands with braces? That doesn't make much sense. But actually, most of you were asking me, why the heck are his braces up so high? And if you go back to the beginning, you can actually see what they're talking about. So they're talking about those braces are way up here, and majority of his teeth is actually hanging down below. And so the question is this normal? And the answer is kinda normal. You see, just like there's tons of ways to do anything else and people have different beliefs about stuff, well, in braces is the same way. And the crazy part is that you can line teeth up in a perfect straight line with brackets. If you put those brackets in the same spot on every tooth all the way across, and it creates a straight line, those teeth will be straight in the areas that you want. Now you can have this line directly in the center of the tooth, you can have it directly on the edges of the teeth, or you can have them directly at the top of the teeth. But as long as those all line up perfectly with the teeth below, it will create a perfect bite. Now, this is called the smile arc placement, a smile arc way of doing braces. And what they believe is that if you put them at the very top here and you go perfectly aligned, yes, it will line it up, but because the center of the tooth, so you have this root and then you have the tooth, right? If you put it directly as close as you can to the center, the torque work and stuff on those brackets will actually work better. And so they place those brackets super high up on purpose. Now, another benefit of this, and actually I've gotten braces with this technique on myself before when I was in residency. I did it for like 6 months to try it out. And actually one of the benefits I had was when I smiled, you couldn't see my braces because they were covered by my lip. Now, another negative for this is it makes it really, really hard for most people because it's up in your gums and it's hard to clean the gums. It's hard to floss around it because it's so high up. And another issue is a lot of the times people's gums are covering a lot of their teeth. And so if you want to get it up there, you're trying to have to like push these brackets up into the gum tissue and it just doesn't work out that well. So that's why most of us put the brackets on the center of the tooth and follow that theory, is so we don't have to like jam stuff up in the gums and have all the issues that come along with this smile arc placement. And as for the rubber bands, well, they're probably just messing around for video because I've never seen that before. I mean, sometimes you can have finishing rubber bands that kind of go up and down like that and sock the teeth in, but the way that they're doing it, I don't think anybody's really doing that. I mean, it almost looked like it was giving like a class 2 per an overbite look, but just really it doesn't make any sense. And they're laughing about it, so it probably has nothing to do with the rubber bands at all. But I don't know, let me know, would you like your braces high up like that? And would you wear rubber bands like that? I don't know if I would. All right, you guys tag me in this. What do we got here? Ooh, I know exactly. Man, I can literally feel the pain just looking at that thing. Oh my gosh. What we're looking at directly live right now is actually what's called an ulcer or a canker sore. Now this can happen for a bunch of different reasons, but normally it happens from trauma, aka you chewed on something and maybe you hit a chip or something like that and it cuts your lip, or in this case we see it sometime in braces. And when you get these braces, things like that little hook that you see poking out there will start to damage that lip and cause that ulcer. Now these are really painful, and so the way that you would deal with this is you would ball up some wax and you would put it on there, and you would have to keep it on there for about 10 days as that ulcer took its course and healed up. Now you can get these on the soft tissue area anywhere. You can even get them on the tongue and stuff underneath, but if it's on the hard tissue area, if you see something very similar but it's on the harder area of the gum tissue, which we call the attached gingiva, that is actually a herpetic sore. That is more like a cold sore. That is the stuff that is on your lips. This is actually an aphthous ulcer, which is on the soft tissue or the loose tissue there. And this will just have to heal up in 10 days and there's not really anything you can do about it. You can do warm salt water rinses to help. You can add some wax on there to help it be a little bit cleaner, but luckily the gum tissue will toughen up over time and you'll have less and less of these issues as you go through your braces journey. But until then, yes, it is really annoying. Oh my gosh, it says best solution, salt. Do not pour salt on that thing. There actually used to be these things called septic pencils that you would actually like put on there and it would like acid cauterize them. Don't do those either. That actually just damages. There's nothing you can really do to make these go away. You can actually take some lysine as a supplement over long periods of time and supposedly that helps a little bit, but really there's nothing you can really do other than just wait 10 days. And then Candace has a funny picture there because I totally agree. When you touch one of these, if you have these, you understand the second you touch them, man, ooh, when you're eating or something and it brushes up, you're like, oh, it hurts so bad. And it looks like everybody else agrees. Yes, they are painful, but they will go away eventually and it is not forever. You just got really unlucky with this situation with the braces.
Okay, you guys, this is an absolute disaster.
Explains this
can happen to you if you go to someone who does not know the principles of moving teeth. Okay, you guys, this is an absolute disaster. This can happen to you. That is an absolute disaster.
Holy moly. So I looked and I couldn't find the original video here, but this is what we were just talking about, basement braces earlier, you know, where we have people doing untrained dentistry that don't know what they're doing. And this is something that could actually happen if you went to somebody with an untrained dentist situation. And it's crazy that it's actually popped up at the same time. You guys tagged me in this saying, what the heck is going on here? And so what is actually happening is people's brackets and braces, you know, a lot of people don't know there is a prescription in the bracket. There is a tilt, torque, and tip that is specifically in every bracket in your mouth to make them all fit and tilt to be the exact same place that we want them to be for a perfect smile. Now, because these are prescription, just like if I gave you prescription lenses for your eyes, I can give you the wrong prescription and it can harm the area, right? If I give you way too much prescription, everything's gonna be blurry and you're gonna start getting headaches and all this type of stuff. Well, unfortunately, some people can mess some stuff up. And if this happens here, normally what they did was they put the prescription upside down. So if you put the bottom brackets on the top brackets or bracket, or you just flip them upside down on accident and you don't know what you're doing, instead of tilting the tooth this way, well, it's now gonna tilt the tooth this way. And that's exactly what probably happened on these front teeth, is they accidentally flipped all the brackets and put them all upside down on the top. And so instead of torquing them inward like they're supposed to, it torqued them way outward. And so much so that unfortunately this person will probably lose these teeth if they are not immediately torqued in the opposite direction again. I mean, you can actually literally see that premolar sticking out complete sideways. And so what do you do here? Well, first you got to take all these brackets off, every one of these teeth that has a bracket on there, because you don't know if it was just an issue with the bracket manufacturer or if it was something you did on your own or whatever it is. More than likely it was basement braces doing this, but regardless, you do the same thing either way. And then you got to get a fresh set of brackets, and you really have to make sure that they are on in the proper location. And then once you do that, you can put a big wire back in if you so choose to start working the opposite direction. Now, luckily, your body is pretty good. You have these things called little PDL fibers that are like stretchy bungee cords. So they're gonna wanna go back to where they were, hopefully. But once you've moved the teeth this far through the bone, that is a long way to go back. And so that is a really, really tough one. Another thing you can do is once you get to a bigger wire, you can actually torque the wire back down this way and put more torque on it that way. That could help as well. But still, what a mess. And this is a big, big issue that we're gonna see more and more of these basement braces stuff pop up. You're gonna see more and things like this happening all the time, which is very unfortunate. Someone says, yo, this is frying me. The search says Kimura teeth. What is Kimura teeth? I don't even know what Kimura teeth is. Someone said, how y'all feeling to look when you get braces by Bria? Totally true and unfortunate. And someone makes a good comment there. Bubbly Beauty says, but that like didn't happen overnight. And that is so true. And this is why it's so good to go to professional, because mistakes happen. Sometimes the brackets are misplaced wrong, or sometimes they got put in upside down or whatever. Mistakes happen. But luckily you're going to a trained orthodontist every 8 to 10 weeks. They're going to notice this really quickly and say, oh yeah, we're going to fix that and re-change it and flip it around. If you're leaving and going to somebody who's like, oh yeah, I just set it and forget to see me in 6 months to a year, well then all of a sudden you're going to come back and you're going to have this big issue and you're going to be like, what the heck? But yeah, of course, if you're having issues like this, you need to tell your orthodontist if anything is going wrong outside of your head. I get questions asked to me all the time from people. Some people go way above and beyond, ask every little micro question possible, and that's great because I want to educate them and make sure they're super comfortable in what's going on. And unfortunately, you're just not going to get that, and then over time, it's going to cause issues like this. Needless to say, understanding, maybe you should just go to an orthodontist for your braces. Alrighty, I got tagged a ton in this one. Looks like we got old Jakey Paul with some crazy titanium jaws. Now it looks insane, obviously on the front. That's probably why this has 150 million views, but I can tell you right now, my brother Paul here does not have these in his mouth. That is actually AI, as we all know now. It's kind of crazy that AI has gotten this good. The crazier part is this has actually happened before, just not on Jake Paul, but on a canine, actually. They're dogs. Now, yes, we do know that Jake Paul got in that fight. He actually broke his jaw in 2 different places, and a lot of people don't know this. He actually lost a tooth in the middle of the crack. I think it was his lower left molar or something like that. And there's even been people like Kanye West and stuff who have gotten titanium grills and the stuff like that. But no, he did not get that. He just got some plates. He got it all fixed up. He's all good to go. But what I was trying to tell you is there was actually Secret Service dogs. So a lot of police canines, what they do is they will actually remove the canines on these dogs because they'll bite so much that they end up breaking them off. And they replace them with titanium implants on these dogs so that when they go biting into criminals and other bad guys, they literally can physically not break. And so while Jake Paul does not necessarily have this, it's not saying it's never actually happened before. So let's see what they said in the comments. It's funny, Jake Paul in 2027. The fun fact is we probably will be getting more and more machine-like as things go. That's going to be really interesting to see what advances come about that stuff, because we're going to have people with like supersonic jaws that can like crush anything. That's going to be an insane. Some people say, how people believe this crap? Well, I mean, it's true. AI is getting better, and it's, guess what? It's just gonna keep getting better until you eventually don't even know if I'm real or not. Either way, it's just a couple years away till we're all terminators. I get it. Now, one, I'm realizing you guys don't wear your retainers, which is insane to me with how much money you guys spend on braces. But the question is, why does this happen? Why are they wiggly, and why did they move in the first place? Well, they're because of this little trampoline in your teeth. That's right, your teeth are basically a trampoline to your face bone. They actually don't sit directly fused to your bone. They actually are movable and they bounce around. That's why they have some movement to them, because they are surrounded by all these little fibers called PDL fibers. These are periodontal ligaments. And you see, when your teeth is set crooked, those PDL fibers are set in their way. And when you turn them, those fibers stretch. And when you're done with braces, they want to bounce back to where those springs used to be. And so that's why we have you wear your retainers for 3 months nonstop, and then nighttime for quite a few years after that, like 5 to 10, to get your bone to solidify and those fibers to kind of loosen up and stretch out so they're less likely to bounce back. The more crowded you are, the more the fibers stretch, the more likely you're going to have relapse on those teeth. And obviously, if you don't wear your retainer and then you go back into wearing your retainer and you wear it for a few things, well, guess what? You're going to start to move those teeth again, and they're going to get loose, because the way that those PDL fibers work is that you move the teeth. Whenever they get shortened, they actually cause the bone to dissolve, and when they get stretched and lengthened, they actually cause the bone to grow to make it back to that perfect level of stretch again. So if you wear them again, you're going to get the same things you would get at the very start of braces. You would get some soreness, and your teeth would get a little wiggly. Now, over time, as she wears those retainers, that teeth will shift back slowly, almost like a little mini Invisalign treatment, and then eventually, if she wears it long enough, it will stabilize in that position and it will be solid again. Or, you know, you could just wear your retainers from the start and never have to go through this. We got Umbrella says, please never stop wearing your retainer. I regret it so bad. And yeah, that's true. I mean, you could just wear it. Unfortunately, as much as I love the permanent retainer effect of having those bonded retainers on there to where you don't have to wear them, they cause a lot of issues. They break, they're hard to clean. And so just wear your retainer at night and take it out and do a good job. Clean it, wear it, do it. Activate like a night guard, almost as protecting your teeth from wearing stuff. I mean, just do what you're supposed to do. In case that I haven't worn my retainer since April, I have accepted my fate. I'm going to accept your credit card again when you get your second form of braces in a couple of years, when you're ready to do it all over again. No, seriously, if you really want to do this, when they're moving a little bit, you can actually re-get them to go back with your retainer. If you wait forever and too long, there's a point of no return, and then you're gonna have to go back into braces again to fix it, which is what I actually don't want, interestingly enough. I don't want your money. I want you to actually wear your retainer and enjoy your braces and the hard work that we put in there to give you the Hollywood smile that you asked for over those 2 years. Or HB got braces and tried eating a cut. What's an HB? Oh my gosh, he's in pain. The human body is pretty wild. There is a reason why, I mean, to be fair, braces are not as painful as it looks, okay? Unless it's the first week or two. And that's because your body has a pain response, okay? When you do things that your body is not used to, it gives you, signals saying, don't do that, or step away from that hot stove, or do that. And so if you're pushing pressure on your teeth the wrong way, your teeth are gonna signal via pain, hey, don't do that, you're moving your teeth and I like my tooth where it's at. Now, the cool part is if that pain continues or that pressure continues for a week or two, your body says, well, I guess this is just what it is. And now it responds to it by going away. So while the first day you're in super pain, you can't even eat a cupcake like that, which is kind of crazy, 2 weeks later, he's gonna have no pain. He'll be able to eat a whole steak if he wants to, and it'll be just fine. Defo said, I used to think people were being dramatic. They were not. And I'm not gonna lie, it is very sore. I wouldn't say painful, it is very sore. It's like you worked out every muscle in your body and the next day and you're just like, oh, I'm so sore. It's muscle soreness, not pain. Ilana says, and your teeth feel all wobbly all of a sudden. Do you guys ever get the one where like you push on it and you just feel this tiny little, it's like a little suction? I remember that when I had my braces. Tony says the pain's real, even water hurts. And to be fair, that's a little braces life hack for you there, is to get rid of that pain. It's the pressure on your teeth that's causing the pain. And so those wires are heat activated. So you can actually drink ice cold water, swish it around in your mouth for 30 seconds, and then the pain will go away for about 2 hours because it'll deactivate those wires. It's actually the heat of your mouth that activates those wires in the first place. So anything cold, even some ice cream, will take away some of that pain. That being said, the pain will go away eventually, and then you're gonna have that Hollywood smile that you've always wanted. So it's not that bad after all. What is happening here? Oh my gosh. I think I understand why you guys tagged me in this one, okay? But I'm not gonna go there. In fact, I'm actually going to say that sugar in that ice cream that she's eating is not causing the problem at all, weirdly enough. Yes, that's correct. The sugar that you're eating is not actually the reason you get cavities. And in fact, some people can eat as much sugar as they want and not get any cavities at all. I know, it's unfair. And it's actually not genetic either. A lot of people say, well, it's just genetic. It's genetics with my family's teeth. That's not true. Well, kind of not true. It's not genetic. It is passed down via your family though. And that is because cavities are formed by bacteria, specifically a bacteria called S. mutans. We're gonna say S. mutans is a termite, and that termite likes to eat wood. Well, S. mutans likes to eat teeth. And the fuel for it just happens to be sugar. So it eats the sugar and then it poops out acid onto your teeth to weaken your teeth so it can eat into it more. So it can eat more carbohydrates, it poops out more acid, and then it keeps eating into your teeth over and over again. So it's not actually sugar, it's carbohydrates, but you know what I'm talking about. That bacteria is passed down from your family. You see, when you're born, you can't get cavities or oral disease at all. You're a blank slate. And then your mother kisses you or your grandma kisses you or drinks after you, and then she gives you her oral microbiome. And depending on how much you get from your mother or father, it even determines, like, if they just brush your teeth and they kiss you, you're not going to get too many bacteria. But if they've been waiting all day long, or maybe they're not very good at brushing their teeth, you can get these high bacterial loads. And depending on what your parents give you, well, now you have a chance of getting high periodontal disease or gum disease, or in the case of a high level of strep mutans, you have a really high chance of getting cavities no matter how much you brush. And that is why some people you know don't have to brush at all and they never get cavities. And that's why some people you know brush all the time and they get cavities no matter what they do. So next time you get a cavity at the dental office, just blame your parents because it was their fault. Jamie says it's literally Pink Raven's laugh. I knew that sounded familiar to me somewhere. You are exactly right. That is Pink Raven's laugh. Me after taking a bite of the ice cream of worry and confusion. No, that face is actually me realizing that it wasn't my fault all this time. I've been brushing my teeth and I got the cavities because it was my mom's fault. She gave me the bacteria after all. Now that being said, regardless of all the bacteria in your mouth, you still need to brush, still need to floss, do your things. You could have one bacteria, different bacteria, all that. We're working on all that stuff. Obviously something nice. We've got the new biotech stuff that's actually actively working on this problem for the first time ever in oral care. We're not quite there yet. We're only tracking S mutans, which is cavities, and P. gingivalis, which is gum disease. But as more bacteria and more bacteria, we're going to figure it out, okay? Our goal is to try and solve oral disease in 3 to 5 years. So until that happens, you're just going to have to keep brushing and flossing. And you know, if you get a cavity next time, just blame your mother. My orthodontist made me a gap I never had before. Oh, dude, that face. She says, bro, I'm not gonna smile for an entire month. I was gonna say, I was looking at what braces she has, and she has the traditional braces. That's a really common thing we see because there's friction in traditional braces. So when you have crowding and stuff, it goes, they kind of poof out, and a lot of times it creates a gap because there's friction and it kind of pushes the teeth in different ways. A lot of times in those Damon brackets or self-ligating brackets, you don't see that as much because they can slide around and they can kind of fill in the gaps where they go to. But luckily, your orthodontist, as you work up through the wires, you will go eventually into what's called a power chain, and then it will and close up that gap that you're looking at. So a month is probably about as long as you're gonna have that gap. Glitter says, yeah, that's how braces work. They move your teeth. And yeah, exactly, they move your teeth. I mean, I don't know what your teeth look like before, but you know, they probably moved to where you had a gap. And then Krupka said, I had that too, it's normal. It disappeared after a while. And then A-Bug says, me when I had mines too, bro. I did not smile at all during that time. And you know, that is always an option. You can just not smile for a month if it really bothers you that bad. Because eventually you're gonna be smiling all the time because you're gonna have that Hollywood smile. You know what I'm talking about? Either way, you'll be okay. Trust the process, except it's my unhinged orthodontic treatment, okay? My teeth before were very crowded and overlapping. I can see that. I didn't really like smiling in pictures. I felt like it made me look like a little kid. I could actually see that. Could be the beanie and glasses, but who knows? I tried to convince myself it didn't matter, but it didn't. So at 24, she changed things. Step 1, lower braces. That's a good way to start. Step 2, surgery, installed an MSE, which is basically a surgical expander for adults. Plate expander, 4 screws in the roof of her mouth, incision through the bone above my front 2 teeth. Yeah, that's a gnarly surgery. It's gonna be pretty painful. The surgery was mega painful. There you go. And swelling made me look like I had botched lip filler. That's, you know, at least you got a little pro there. Swollen AF. I had to turn the expander every day to widen my palate. That's kind of the purpose of that MSE, is to widen that palate. It was so painful. I couldn't even do the first full turns as my ortho had instructed. Yeah, it's pretty rough. You can see her cheek really blown out there. This was the first day I did 4 complete turns. It was so painful, it made me cry. That's because that pressure is building up in that suture trying to bust and break. But my teeth started shifting immediately. My husband and literally heard a popping sound as they started to shift. That is that suture breaking open. And by the next morning, the gap was beginning to form. That is exactly what happens. That gap should instantly start popping up when that happens. Later that same day, the gap was already started to getting wider. Once you break that suture, it's as easy as pie. You just open up. Just a few days later, that gap is gonna get big, yeah. You can see that smile is getting way wider too. It looks really good so far. 2 weeks gap first started. Valentine's Day, my teeth were still angled, but it is opening there. Once my palate expanded through, I finally got my top braces on. This is where it's probably gonna start looking really good. Teeth gradually stopped flaring out so much. That's because we probably stopped expanding at this point. After 5 months, I had another surgery to remove my expander. It started growing into my mouth, and that does happen sometimes, especially if you don't clean it very good. So if you do have these, make sure you clean it with like a water flosser or something. Now it was time for the rubber bands to fix the bite. Yep, definitely still gotta do all the orthodontics. That gap is way more closed now, as you can see. Then in August, something amazing happened. He got married. Oh my gosh, congrats. She still had her braces on, she says. And and you can barely even see him in your photo there. Oh my gosh, look at that. It was ready to get things off. After only 18 months, that's only a year and a half treatment. That's crazy. Look at that. It finally happened. I feel like my face has changed so much. Oh my gosh, it really has. The before, narrow arch, the crowding, everything. Not very happy with her smile, and boom! Dude, that is a great smile. This is living volumes. Dude, what a show. A year and a half to get that is crazy fast, and that is probably one of the better adult expander cases I've seen. Congrats, that is a really good one. Bree said, you look amazing. Now please wear your retainers every night for life, trust me. And yes, please after all that work, wear your retainers. It looks amazing, congrats. All right, we got braces pain levels at 1, hour 1, 0 pain. Dude, wait till the next day. 7 hours, 6 out of 10 pain. Yeah, 10 hours is about where I see. That's why I say have your last meal. And then next day, 8 out of 10 pain. Look at that. Yeah, braces can be painful and definitely really sore too. It's more like a muscle soreness than like a pain sharp soreness. And definitely that first day is really intense. So something you need to do if you're going to get braces, when you're going in, take some Tylenol or ibuprofen to numb the pain and get ready for that. Let your body start getting ready for that pain. Another thing you should do after you get your braces on is go have a final meal, because it'll probably be the final time that you can have a solid meal for a good week or two. And then make sure to ask your parents to go get you some ice cream, because these wires are heat activated and you need to have some ice cold water on hand. You can swish around with that, or some ice cream or something like that, something cold to deactivate that wire if you want to just get some of that pain relief for a little bit in that first week or two. Now, luckily for you, after that first week or two, that pain goes away. Your body gets used to it and everything is fine from there. She says, oh, wait till you just get them power chains on. Yeah, you know, the power chains are a whole nother story. We'll talk about that another day. No, I'm just kidding. They really aren't that bad. You may be sore for a day, but then it goes away after that. And exactly, Isabella says, okay, but I just got mine off and this is how I feel. That's what it's for. The pain is beauty is pain, because in the end, you're gonna have that Hollywood smile you want. You can be smiling all over the place and the pain would have been worth it.
Day 2 of using orthodontic.
What is that thing?
To open my jaw, because I have lockjaw.
Oh my gosh, she says, day 2 of lockjaw therapy. This is a torture device. I'm 14 days post-op of my second jaw surgery. That wowzers. Okay, yeah, she's definitely after jaw surgery. She's got limited opening.
Take the edge off.
And maybe she got lockjaw from the first surgery, or maybe she had lockjaw and they're confirming. I have never seen this device in my life. So if there's an oral surgeon who wants to comment, that looks...
I slipped.
I'm not gonna lie, this doesn't really make sense to me, because like, lockjaws normally have the condyle fits in the fossa. Maybe she has so much swelling and pain from the surgery that they're using this to kind of just make sure that everything's moving. But like, that can really damage, if you're locked up and the condyle is sitting on top of bone and you're forcing and jamming that bone into the other bone with this, that could actually damage your jaw. So I'm not too sure what this is doing. I'm sure oral surgeons and somebody can help me out here, because this is weird, because I've seen a ton of videos. I have never seen somebody using a device like this to fix a lockjaw. A lot of times lockjaw is just because it's dislocated or it's messed up. My guess is it's sitting in the right spot, but maybe there's like some scarring from the surgery or something, and then they're trying to make sure that she's maintaining and keeping opening so it doesn't get locked in and get fibrous and damage from the surgery. But that's scary. Oh my gosh. Hopefully this doesn't hurt her. Please, if you're an oral surgeon, somebody like tell me what's going on here. That thing looks crazy. And a lot of people are saying, do you know what causes lockjaw? What causes lockjaw? Well, it depends. It could be because your disc is out of place and it's dislocated and it needs to be relocated back in case that would be a bad idea to be using something like this. It could be because you've worn down your condyle from bad, chewing over time, and you've grinded bone on bone for so long that it doesn't fit anywhere anymore and you're just kind of locked. It could be a bunch of different ways. And a lot of them, this could actually harm it. Forcing open a lockjaw that's bone on bone is a bad idea. So obviously I'm sure their oral surgeon is working with them and there's a reason for this, but it doesn't mean it doesn't look crazy. Is it just me, or does this look crazy? Belle says, dear stranger, I am so sorry. And you know what? It's true. I'm feeling for you too. And as the internet's dentist, I'm sorry as well. I hope you get better soon. Alrighty, we got Dr. Morad Shaglouf. Composite restoration for anterior badly decayed central incisor tooth. And look at that thing. Oh yeah, that's the forbidden gummy worm there. And no, my man did not eat shoelaces there. You can kind of see that at the very end. Actually, weird, he did that in reverse. So if you look at it from the end there, you can see what we kind of started with. He had a really badly decayed tooth here in the front. And so this is what we call a composite restoration. So you can kind of see from the front again, he built it back up with this. And that little cord that he's pulling out is what we call a packing cord. And so you stuff that in there. And a lot of times they're doused in like epinephrine and stuff to stop any bleeding. And you push that up in the gum tissue so that when you put that composite there, you get a really nice seal so there's no overhanging or problems there. And yeah, I mean, it looks pretty crazy, doesn't it? It definitely looks like this guy probably doesn't take as good a care of his teeth as he should, but to be fair, it could just be staining from eating certain things. A lot of times in the Middle East, we see people eating a lot of betel nuts and things like that, and that causes some of that brown staining that we see there. And it does look like this man grinds his teeth a lot because his teeth are flat. So his teeth are definitely, in need of some composite restorations. Looks like this Dr. Murad Shagluf does a pretty good job. So, I mean, it looks like he's in good hands, but he's a little like pulling that cord out. Wow. Yeah, that's a solid one. There you go. Raya says, this is disgustingly satisfying. And you know what? That's all of dentistry, really. In the beginning, it's really shocking. You know, my first crazy stuff I saw in dental school, I was like, what did I choose this profession for? You know, but by the end, you're numb to it. And then now it's all just fun and interesting to look at. Oh my gosh, Mally with the freaking chew. I didn't think it was that gross. This is like borderline. This is like baby stuff. Either way, that's why you got dentists like us to fix it.